say already, Spurs 4, Manchester City 1. What is going to happen over the next 2 hours? Well, whatever does, Ian Dennis and John Hartson will bring it to you from Old Trafford.
Thank you, Mark. I noticed that he never said that you were pathetic for saying strictly speaking, but that's by the by, because when I mentioned earlier on to John that England would win in the rugby, he choked on his chicken. However, for the next 2 hours we will remain cordial. We've got no option in our tight commentary position here, but the big game later on 5 Live. But certainly for the next 2 hours it's all about the football. Spurs 4, Manchester City 1, and as a result of that, Manchester United have the perfect incentive to go to the top of the table. MK Dons 1, Derby County 3, incidentally, was the real full-time score in the Championship. Just the one change that has been made by Louis van Gaal from the Southampton game last week in the Premier League. Valencia coming in at right back. Darmian, who's two-footed, not a problem for him to play at left back. He's done that to Italy on numerous occasions. So De Gea is in goal. A back four of Valencia, Smalling, Blint and Darmian, Carrick and Schneiderlin, and then Mata, Rooney, Memphis and Martial. 3 changes for Sunderland from their defeat at Bournemouth. O'Shea, Catamol and Johnson coming in for Coates, Gomez and Defoe. Pantilimon, ex-Manchester City keeper, of course, in goal. A back four of Jones, Kabul, O'Shea and Van Arnholt, and Villa and Catamol, the 2 holding midfielders, Johnson, Toivonen and Lons, and then Barini up front for Sunderland. And they're wearing their change strip of green. John Hartson.
Yeah, well, as you say, Deno, it's just a one change. Manchester United, the one I'm surprised about really is Darmian. You know, we've seen Ashley Young play over on that left-hand side today. He's gone with Valencia at right back and Darmian at left back. We're not too sure how comfortable he is there, but obviously we will find out today.
And as the goals go in, you'll hear them first here on 5 Live. We'll also keep you up to date with that game in Pool D, Italy and Canada. And in fact, before we get underway, we can go there now, and Ian Carter.
It's an absolute belter, Ian. We've had 25 minutes. It's Italy 10, Canada 10. The latest score, an equalising penalty from Tommy Allen from in front of the post after a penalty for obstruction was awarded, deemed non-cynical. 10-all, 25 minutes gone.
Thank you, Ian. So we're underway. Manchester United, red shirts, white shorts and black socks. They're defending the Stretford end, and a garish goalkeeping outfit. You'll certainly see De Gea on Match of the Day later on in that luminous top away to our left-hand side. I say garish shouldn't be a bad word to describe the two-tone green shirts for Sunderland, with Everton's change strip as well. Green obviously is the new orange. It's the future. As Pantilimon will clear downfield for Sunderland, headed on by Toivonen, headed back by Barini, and then the challenge comes in from Carrick. And our referee Mike Jones will give an early free kick for Sunderland, who, it's easy to say, have got to start well, John Hartson.
Well, it's always important that you come to Old Trafford and you start well. I think when you go a goal down early, it gets the crowd up. It makes the enormity of the task that Sunderland have today in getting the result here. Only once, Deno, of Sunderland beat Manchester United in the Premier League, and that's 26 games. So that tells you everything really of the importance that Sunderland need a performance today to get anything out of this game.
Yeah, just that one win since 1968. It was in 2014. Here that day it was Larsson who popped up with the goal. Although last season I was also here in February when United won by 2-0. And for certainly the first hour, Sunderland kept things tight. However, we're going straight to Anfield and Ian Brown.
Wow, Liverpool needed this. They've scored after exactly 1 minute here against Aston Villa. Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0. A captain's goal for James Milner. A strike from the edge of the penalty area, left-footed, low beyond Guzan after being set up by Coutinho. It's Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0.
Just what Brendan Rodgers would have wanted. Manchester United go back, but for that first hour Sunderland kept it tight. And you might recall it was the time when Wes Brown was sent off, when John O'Shea actually committed the offence. It was a case of mistaken identity by the referee Roger East, and only the second goal arrived quite late. So Manchester United know that Sunderland might not be any pushovers despite their torrid start to the season.
No, I don't think there'll be a pushover. I think they'll be certainly up for the game. We spoke about discipline and the fact that, you know, they need to keep 11 players on the ball. They need to be brave in possession, and you always need that little bit of luck to get United through.
Valencia surging forward from right back into the penalty area, miscontrolled it, couldn't keep it in just as he looked up, but it was a bursting run on the overlap, played in, cut into the penalty area, and that lapse of concentration, and the ball rolled out for a goal kick.
That's poor from Enner Valencia, really poor. He's got a great opportunity very early in the game to get the ball out of his feet and pick somebody out in that Manchester United in the colour red. You know, Rooney and Martial were both in there. Poor from Valencia, didn't get his touch out of his feet.
His 250th Premier League appearance. Of course, he had that time with Wigan, didn't he? The Ecuadorian who was signed after he impressed Paul Jewell at the World Cup in 2006. Catamol plays the ball out towards that far side. A sliding Jones will play it forward. They've given it away. Rooney out towards the left-hand side, and then it's Darmian who will play it forward. Memphis back once again. Manchester United keeping possession, plays the ball forward. Memphis then looking towards Martial. Bright pink boots, but 4 goals in 4. It's the perfect start. Clearance only as far as Rooney. Challenge comes in from Catamol, was a good one on the England captain. And now it's with Lenz on this near side, the left, out of play for a United throw. 0-0, John Hartson.
Yeah, good crunching tackle early in the game from Catamol on Wayne Rooney. Rooney just trying to line up a shot, gets the ball out of his feet, but Catamol comes in. Good strong tackle. That's what Dick Advocaat wants to see from his players today.
Blint at the back, closed down by Barini to Smalling, centre circle, just a patch of blue sky. It was a glorious morning in Manchester earlier with clear blue skies, but it's clouded over somewhat over the ground now, but it's still very mild for late September. 0-0, but Liverpool are already leading Aston Villa by a goal to 0. Sunderland, bottom of the table. Manchester United can go top after City were hammered at White Hart Lane. Spurs 4, Manchester City 1. No other goals to tell you about around the country just yet. Walsall, in fact, have just taken the lead. An early goal at the best, got second in the table against struggling Crewe. And Swindon 0, Colchester 1. And in fact, in our featured game in League One, Chesterfield against the leaders Burton, there's been a goal for Sahel Sahi.
And it's gone to Chesterfield after 2 minutes. A corner from the right, floated in towards the near post, and it was Sam Hurd who got his head to the ball and scored for Chesterfield. Chesterfield 1, Burton 0.
So with Burton losing and Walsall leading, Walsall at the Bescott Stadium could overtake them and go to the top of the table. Darmian forward for Manchester United. Crosses from the left-hand side. Martial can't get there, just over his head. Mata will send over a curling ball in, and Memphis can't stretch for it either, and out for a goal kick. Manchester United 0, Sunderland 0. First goal in the Premier League in the 3 o'clock was at Anfield, where Liverpool are leading by a goal to 0. What about at Southampton, at home to Swansea? Jonathan Overend.
0-0 here as well. Some lovely possession football from the home side in the early stages. But the first shot on target a few moments ago from Swansea. Shelvey from distance. His drive beaten out by Stekelenburg. Straight to the feet of Key, who shot over. 0-0.
0-0 here as well. So far in these early stages. 6 minutes played on 5 live. And the ball seen back by Blint all the way towards De Gea. Barnet are leading Dagenham and Redbridge by a goal to 0 in League 2, and you're up to date with all the goals as they go in. Manchester United with Blint 10 yards inside his own half. Schneidlin in the centre circle now, quickly closed down, and then it's back out with Antonio Valencia. One of our featured games in the Championships at Turf Moor, an early goal for Deleth Lloyd.
5 minutes gone, Burnley 0, Reading 1. That man in form, Nick Blackman, with his 8th of the season. Burnley failing to clear it. The ball fell to Blackman just inside the area. He fired it home into the bottom corner. Burnley 0, Reading 1.
Manchester United with Martial. Good close control. Did well to hold on to the ball. Valencia linking up with Martial. Good tenacity as well. And then brought down right on the corner of the penalty area by Catamol. The direct free kick. He's impressed with his touch, John Hartson.
Yeah, showed really good feet then, did Martial. Good feet, good strength. He looks a thick-set lad, doesn't he? For 19, he's a good size. But wins a free kick for his team there on Sunderland's left-hand corner of the penalty area. Mata and Memphis over the ball.
Millwall lead Rochdale by 1-0 in League One. So Manchester United, 7.5 minutes played. Playing from left to right as we look in the main stand, have everybody forward. Every green shirt is back inside the penalty area for Sunderland. Mata to take it, left-footed, curling in, and headed out by Mvia and out of play for a throw, which Mata will just trot across to take. The ball girl will gently throw the ball back towards the Spaniard. Memphis shows himself, and the return ball from Mata runs out of play. And that will be out for a throw to Sunderland. They're in no real hurry to take that, so we'll go back to Anfield. And Ian Brown.
It's still Liverpool 1, Villa 0 after 8 minutes. That goal officially timed at 66 seconds for James Milner, the fastest in the Premier League so far this season. His first for Liverpool and against his former club. Villa have come close with a Gasted header, but Ings has just tested Guzan at the other end. Liverpool 1, Villa 0.
A goal at Upton Park. West Ham Norwich, John Southall.
West Ham 0, Norwich City 1. West Ham gave the ball away to Robbie Brady, and he encroached into the penalty area and slipped it under Adrian, and West Ham's problems at home continue. West Ham 0, Norwich 1.
Probably Brady's first goal for the club since his summer switch from Hull City. As they lead 1-0, Liverpool already 1-0 up. You're listening to 5 Live, 9 minutes played. Manchester United though are looking sharp. Although they're yet to test Pantilimon, they are asking questions. As Carrick plays the ball forward, Memphis, Martial is also there, and it runs away from them. This could be a long afternoon the way this game started though, John Hartson.
Yeah, but Carrick does really well there, Ian. He wins the ball, intercepts the pass, and he tries to play Martial, and I'm thinking Carrick might have got a shot away early in the game. Well, the first 10 minutes, he decides to try and slip Martial into his left, and it came to nothing in the end.
So Pantilimon, the 6'8" Romanian, will clatter that ball away downfield, and Mike Jones then will give a free kick. Toivonen has been fouled. The blonde-haired Swede who played under Advocat when he was PSV. In fact, Dick Advocat has only lost 1 in 9 games against Louis van Gaal.
Interesting stat, that one, but this is a little couple of seconds here that Sunderland can make the most of. They've got a free kick sort of 30-40 yards out. I think it's too far for a shot. Mvila is standing over the ball, but this is a time now where they can just take their time, take that little breather that they're going to need at times today in this game.
Mvila then with the free kick, only partially cleared, comes back out, Kabul, and headed on, and De Gea makes the save, and a goal at Southampton. Jonathan Overend.
Goal to Southampton, they lead 1-0. Virgil van Dijk has got it up for the corner. Lovely delivery from James Ward-Prowse from the left. We're getting used to that, aren't we? And Van Dijk, the former Celtic man, rose highest. Clean header, simple really. 1-0 Southampton.
Scunthorpe leads Southend United by 1-0, and a surprising scoreline in Scotland where the leaders Aberdeen are behind. Inverness 1, Aberdeen 0. Aberdeen previously until today have won 8 out of 8. Sunderland try and release Barini on this near side, the left. Smalling will come across, and we'll see that ball back towards De Gea. Just before we went to Jonathan Over, and when the cross came in, the header didn't really necessarily have the troll, I think, to test De Gea, but it's nevertheless good to see Sunderland trying to get forward.
Yes, it is, and it was O'Shea actually who comes back into the team today and might just add that little bit of strength and experience to Sunderland's back foot. O'Shea with the header, but didn't test De Gea at all.
Schneiderlin's pass cut out. Another goal at Turf Moor. Della Floyd.
Reading have doubled their lead. 9 minutes gone. Burnley 0, Reading 2. Lucas Piathon with his first goal since joining on loan from Chelsea. Smashed it into the bottom corner from close range. Burnley 0, Reading 2.
Preston have just taken the lead at home to Wolves without a win in 6 in the Championship, but Simon Grayson's side lead Wolves 1-0. Reading 2-0 up there. Earlier Derby County beat MK Dons by 3-1. MK Dons now have lost their last 6 in all competitions. So Norwich are ahead at Upton Park. Liverpool lead Aston Villa by a goal to nil. Southampton are 1-0 up against Swansea. What about Stoke City and Bournemouth? Juliet Farrington.
Bit of a slow start. It's Stoke 0, Bournemouth 0, but a major concern for Bournemouth, an injury to Callum Wilson. It's the second challenge now that he's gone under, and he was the first challenge he went under. He received some treatment, he was down for some time, he managed, it would seem, to jog the problem off, but now Lee Mason this time has called on for the stretcher. Eddie Howe looks concerned. Stoke 0, Bournemouth 0, but an injury to Callum Wilson.
Straight to Leicester, there's been a goal. Pat Murphy.
To Leicester City, Jamie Vardy, terrific goal, quick break on the left, opened out his body, bent a right foot shot past Cech, he'd already hit the post, Cech had already saved splendidly from Schupp, Cazorla shot off the line from Delat. It's been a lively start. Leicester 1, Arsenal 0.
And the only unbeaten side in the Premier League lead by a goal to nil. So Leicester are ahead, Liverpool are leading, Norwich are winning at West Ham United. So Stoke City and Southampton 1, Swansea 0. So Stoke City and Bournemouth, and this game here at Old Trafford, the only games in the Barclays Premier League at 3 o'clock yet to have a goal. But Manchester United have started well if they can only just try and find a way through to test Pantilimon. But so far, the Sunderland defence has held firm. John Hartson.
Yes, they've held firm, but United are dominating possession. Today, Barini needs to try and get. It's difficult for Barini up there on his own for Sunderland, but United at the minute, it's all Manchester United, and they're just probing, and you can just see them just getting through any minute.
Here is Mata central area, puts the shot away off his left foot, took a deflection, and behind for a corner kick. Manchester United are dominant. Wolfsburg are here on Wednesday, and they're 1-0 ahead of Hanover. That'll be a derby game in the Bundesliga shortly before half-time. Bas Dost has got that goal, and you'll be able to hear commentary of Manchester United Wolfsburg on Wednesday. Porto Chelsea's our Champions League commentary on Tuesday. West Brom against Everton on Monday night. So plenty more live football to come on 5 Live, your football station, and of course your Rugby Union World Cup station. Corner flicked on at the near post, played back in by Schneiderlin, and it will go out of play for a goal kick. Mentioned that Inverness that the take of the lead against Aberdeen. We can get details of that from Dave Donaldson.
Yeah, it was a good move by Inverness. Ross Draper's pass into the path of Miles Story, and from 15 yards out he drilled it past Danny Ward. Inverness 1, Aberdeen 0.
And when you say that 5 Live is your home of live sport, Premier League football, the Rugby Union World Cup, 3 games tomorrow, but that's after the Spanish Grand Prix. So throw in Formula 1, and we certainly have the perfect sporting mix this weekend for you on 5 Live. Long punt back downfield. Pantilimon, he's come out of his area and then just stood still, and in the end he catches the ball, but he was actually out of his area. And what a mix-up that was with Kabul. He pleads his innocence to referee Mike Jones, but he came out and then they just didn't seem to deal with the threat, John Hartson.
Well, it's Kabul and Pantilimon. It makes an absolute mess of it. They're under no pressure at all. Martial is about 5 or 6 yards behind them, just closing it down. But they've got to make a decision. Pantilimon's either got to come and clear it and kick it into Rose Edge, or Kabul's got to put his foot through it. Misunderstanding there. Typical Sunderland. They've got to shore up at the back today, absolutely, otherwise they're going to concede goals.
Well, now they might be punished, because this free kick is just outside the penalty area. It's right of centre. Notts County are leading York City by a goal to nil in League Two. You've got Memphis, Rooney and Mata. Rooney has now walked away, and Mata's eyeing it up. Sunderland have everybody back the full 10 yards. Everybody, it seems, is in that wall bar one. Pantilimon, even though he's 6'8", will be struggling to see this over the wall. It's left for Mata, left-footed into the wall. Toivonen's clearance goes straight back to Mata, and in the end it's Barini who takes it off his toes. Back to Stoke City and Juliet Farrington.
Yeah, Callum Wilson, it looks a really bad one for him, Ian. He's got gas as he's being stretchered off, hands over his head. He's being wheeled now towards the tunnel in front of all the Bournemouth travelling fans. We've had 2 lengthy stoppages in this first half already, and this is due to this injury. He went down, Wilson, under a challenge, and despite being down for a few minutes or so, he got back up. He appeared to be back on his feet,
but seconds after rejoining the game here at the Britannia Stadium, he went down again, and this time Lee Mason called the stretcher on. It's Stoke 0, Bournemouth 0, but a real injury concern for Bournemouth and Callum Wilson.
It's always sad to hear. Smalling playing it through. Martial, was he fouled? Referee Mike Jones shakes his head. And the clearance then from Kabul. Lenz is tackled by Valencia, and out of play it runs for a throw. Half-time in the rugby. Italy against Canada. Ian Carter.
Italy 13, Canada 10. The Italians coming from 10-0 down after DTH van der Merwe scored one of the tries of the World Cup, and Hirayama slotted a conversion and a penalty, but Michele Rizzo's try converted, and then a further penalty, and then Tommy Allen's penalty with the last kick of the first half when the Canadians came in at the side means that the difference is Italy 13, Canada 10.
A goal at Leicester. Pat Murphy.
It's gone to Arsenal. Equaliser from Theo Walcott. A very, very swift break. This after Okazaki had hit the bar just 30 seconds ago. It's such an open game, this one. Leicester 1, Arsenal 1.
Pantilimons with a clearance. Lenz brings it down off his chest. Foul by Valencia. That'll be a free kick. I'm pretty sure I said the Japanese Grand Prix tomorrow.
You said the Spanish Grand Prix this afternoon.
Oh, did I?
I think you did, didn't I?
Oh, right. I thought I'd said the Japanese. The editor had said to me, through producer Alistair, you said Spanish. I had written down Japanese. So it's at 5:30 in the morning. They'd have to be up very early in Spain. Imagine that, the Spanish Grand Prix in Japan.
I think Rosberg's on pole as well. And
But it is the Japanese Grand Prix. Never argue with the editor. That's what I often find. Mark Chapman, not a problem. You, maybe debatable, but never the editor. Japanese Grand Prix at 5:30 in the morning, followed by Australia, Uruguay, Scotland, the United States, and Ireland against Romania. And we start 5 Live Sport a little bit earlier at 5 to midday tomorrow. Now, what's happening elsewhere around the country? Fleetwood are leading Port Vale by 1-0. That's the only goal that we've missed so far around the country, and we're up to date. And there's an injury here. There's a stoppage in play. John.
Yeah, it's Catamol who's gone down, but he's a tough lad, is Lee Catamol. He's back up on his feet, but it's been United pressure, but Pantilimon's not really been tested in the Sunderland goal. Sunderland have gone 4 at the back, and they're playing a 5 across the midfield with Borini up top on his own, which is a difficult role. And they're just saying to United, well, break us down. That they can't get out Sunderland. When they get a little bit of possession, they give it straight back, simply because United are on the front foot and they close down really, really well. So a little bit of cat and mouse at the minute. Can United break this sort of stubborn, gritty Sunderland back 4? And they've put Catamol and Mvila in front of the back 4, so they're saying basically break the 6 down, if you like.
Well, Catamol had been having treatment. He came off the pitch, but he's back on the field of play, and here he is playing that ball forward now towards Lens, and then it goes out of play, and it'll be a Manchester United throw in. Doncaster Rovers have just fallen behind in the South Yorkshire derby at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 1, Doncaster 0, but Crewe Alexander have equalised at the Bescott Stadium. Walsall riding high, Crewe struggling, now 1 apiece, and Barnsley are leading Gillingham by 1-0. Remember, the leaders Burton are behind, but at Oakwell it's Barnsley 1, Gillingham 0. No goals here at Old Trafford. 0-0 between Stoke City and Bournemouth, and we will go back to John Southall at West Ham.
Well, it's West Ham 0, Norwich 1. It's all Norwich. It could have been 2-0 a moment ago. Johnny Howson brought the ball down 12 yards out and flashed a shot over the bar. What happens to West Ham when they play at Upton Park? West Ham 0, Norwich 1.
The 2-1 favourite Charlar has just won the Judgment Middle Park Stakes at Newmarket. Frankie Dettori on board. We'll bring you news of the Cambridgeshire at half-time. That's about 3:50. They're off at Newmarket for the feature race of the day. Half-time with Mark Chapman. The first goal of the day in the Premier League was at Anfield. Let's go back to Ian Brown.
It's still Liverpool 1, Villa 0. We've now played for 21 minutes. Still a little air of apprehension around the ground, even though Liverpool are dominating proceedings. James Milner scored that early goal, but Liverpool have failed to capitalise on some sloppy Villa defending since then. It remains Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0.
Simon Grayson won't be too happy. His team are leading Wolves by 1-0. However, Joe Garner's just been sent off in the 19th minute, so they're down to 10 men. They'll need that advantage against Kenny Jackett's side. Rooney will chip the ball back towards Mata. Manchester United playing from left to right. It's been a lively start at Leicester. It's 1-1. Liverpool are 1-0 up. Norwich leading West Ham by 1-0. Southampton 1-0 up against Swansea. Clearance from Sunderland towards Barini. Appeals for handball as he brought that ball under control back towards Toivonen, and Toivonen then will play the ball towards Johnson. Johnson running back midway through his own half, then plays a forward ball, cut out by Darmian, quickly then towards Memphis, and Memphis is onto that on that far side, the left. He's been pulled back there, but Memphis continues to cut inside the penalty area. Memphis still going, and in the end it was O'Shea with a clearance, only as far as Darmian. Darmian's cross is too heavy, out of play for a goal kick. Back to Southampton and Jonathan Overend.
Still Southampton 1, Swansea 0, but don't mess with Ronald Koeman. He's raging at his players down there on the touchline, upset at how they're giving the ball away. The possession football they were playing early on, well, that isn't happening right now. He's really, really frustrated down there, but his side are in front. Just to clarify, Van Dijk with the goal from the left wing corner, and it's Southampton 1, Swansea 0.
And Alistair tells me that Garner's just come back to the Preston team after serving a 1-match ban for 5 bookings, but it'll be, a 3-match ban for serious foul play. Bury leading Coventry by a 1-0, and Swindon have just equalised. It's 1-1 against Colchester. You're listening to 5 Live Sport here at Old Trafford, where it's Manchester United 0, Sunderland 0. Johnson picks up this ball along the ground, plays it out towards that far side, and Jones, the right back, is forward, and back inside to Jan Veer. Here is to Johnson. Towards Veer once again. It's a right-footed ball. Jones has stayed in the attack. Lons has also popped up here. In the end, it's a save at his near post by De Gea with his legs. And he gets plenty of distance on that as well. Picked up by the green shirts of Sunderland. Johnson runs into trouble. And now Manchester United can break. And Memphis towards Rooney. Martial's ahead of him. Played in. Martial, penalty area. Kabul tries to block his way through to goal. As the return ball towards Rooney is intercepted, Sunderland will slow things down with Johnson. John Hartson.
Yeah, great run in behind again from Martial, showing great awareness, holds his run really, really well, gets in behind the Sunderland back four, but decides not to go on his own. Just a little bit negative, should have just gone for goal for me. Tries to play Wayne Rooney in square of him, and he messes up the pass.
Here is Kabul. Over the halfway line, wonders where to go, and then will continue to run forward on the left-hand side. Matching him stride for stride is Carrick. Kabul then overruns the ball, actually wins the 50-50 challenge as a result. Ball is played forward towards Veer, and he tried to lay it out towards Johnson, bounced off the chest of Darmian, a little bit scrappy. Manchester United now with Rooney, lays it off to Mata, showed too much towards Catamol to win it back for Sunderland, who are just starting to show signs of growing in confidence. Toivonen, Van Aanholt is forward. Both fullbacks looking to get forward at every opportunity. Toivonen. Lens. And they've lost it, Van Aanholt. Carrick. Rooney away from Catamol. Now they've got problems, both fullbacks are pushed up. Rooney running into space. Rooney looking to cross the ball, cleared away by O'Shea, only as far as Memphis! Time to measure himself, and Pantilimon tips it over for a corner kick.
Great effort from Memphis, but a save from Pantilimon, tips it over the bar. But it's not a difficult save really, it's a good height for the goalkeeper. But again, positive from Rooney, turned on the halfway line, tried to play in Martial, fell to Memphis, decent effort, United corner.
Dundee 1, Ross County 1, a latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Motherwell are leading Partick Thistle by 1-0 as well. So a corner kick for Manchester United. Memphis to take it, had time to pick his spot. Pantilimon was equal to it. In it comes, aimed towards Carrick, near side of the 6-yard box, headed over, goal kick. 3:25. You're listening to BBC 5 Live. No goals here at Old Trafford, but Pat Murphy's already seen 2 at the King Power.
It's a terrific game. Leicester 1, Arsenal 1. Arsene Wenger's arms are flapping down there in the technical area. He's upset by Arsenal's defending and their approach work. But both sets of sides are counter-attacking superbly. Vardy, his 4th goal in successive games. He put them ahead, Leicester. Arteta's come on for the injured Flamini, and Walcott equalised. It's Leicester 1, Arsenal 1. There'll be more.
Games where there have been goals in the Championship, as we know from Delap, it's Burnley 0, Reading 2, and Preston leading Wolves by 1-0. But remember, Garner has been sent off. Schneiderlin towards Rooney. Rooney will play the ball out towards Darmian, who's playing at left back today. It's a right-footed ball. Memphis will play it back towards the Italian international, who now comes inside the Sunderland half. Back towards Memphis. Likes to play on the left and cut in on that right foot, as we've just seen. Memphis, though, is this time crowded out, and Sunderland with those green shirts will bring the ball away. And it's with Veer. Barini drifting out towards the right-hand side. But he's lost the ball to Daley Blind. And in fact, in his efforts to win it back, Borini is foul blint. They've taken the free kick. Referee Mike Jones is quite happy to let the game flow. That's the second time he's done that. Just happy to have a quick free kick, keep the pace of the game going. Here is Rooney to Carrick. The ball from Memphis to Rooney didn't quite come off on the edge of the penalty area. Swept high and clear by Kabul. But Manchester United are picking up those loose balls, John Hartson.
Yeah, they are. They're quicker to the second ball. And you just feel now, with 18 minutes to go before half-time, United just getting on top, really. They've dominated possession, but Pantilemon's not had a lot to do in terms of, attempts on goal from United. Whenever they've got in Sunderland's final third, they've been quite wasteful.
Here is Valencia. Antonio Valencia looking to go on the outside. Can he wriggle free? Yes, he can. Looks up, low ball, drilled in, outstretched leg by Kabul. Will block that, and then it'll be Lenz to bring it away, but he's been caught in possession by Mata. Mata chips the ball over the head of Rooney, out for a goal kick. Doncaster Rovers have equalised at Bramall Lane in League One. Sheffield United 1, Doncaster Rovers 1. Dundee United have taken the lead at McDermott Park. St Johnstone 0, Dundee United 1, and you're up to date as we go to Bolton and Dave Woods in the Championship.
Bolton 0, Brighton 0. It's a watchable game. David Stockdale and the Brighton goal has had to make a couple of very decent saves to deny Max Clayton and Wellington Silver at the other end. Sam Watt balled up, rolled it just beyond the far post when he might have done better, and Jamie Murphy has rippled the netting with a shot from long range. But it's Bolton 0, Brighton 0.
Don't forget, our build-up will start at 7 o'clock ahead of the big game in Pool A in Rugby Union's World Cup. John Hartson will be listening to 5 Live on his way home. England against Wales.
Big one that is, Deno. That is the cup final for me, because you think Wales, England and Australia all in the same group. One of them will go. But tonight's result is massive.
Mark Pugac and the team for an 8 o'clock kickoff. The build-up starts from 7, although I'm sure we'll be hearing from Mark in Sports Report with Mark Chapman as well. Back to Anfield and Ian Brown.
Team in red leading here. Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0. It's been decent from Liverpool. Nearly all of the game being played inside the Aston Villa half. Guzan's made a couple of sharp stops, but the best chance latterly has come to Villa. Gested firing wide from inside the box after an error by Skirtle. Liverpool 1, Villa 0.
There was no bias there, was there, from Brownie when he said the team in red? He's another one who'll be in hope later on. That's it. No more comments. Said on Twitter that would remain cordial throughout the afternoon, John.
Yes, absolutely.
Manchester United, though, the team in red here, that are being frustrated by Sunderland. In League Two, Barnet are leading Dagenham and Redbridge by a goal to 0. Notts County leading York City 1-0, and they're the only 2 games where there have been goals so far in League Two. No other latest scores to tell you about so far, as Manchester United with Blint will come forward, plays it towards Martial. Martial then try and just scoop the ball, dink it forward towards Memphis, but Billy Jones is staying tight towards Memphis, and that will run out of play, and Sunderland have dealt with that latest Manchester United attack well.
Yeah, well, only once I've noticed Billy Jones, the right full-back for Sunderland, has even ventured into the Manchester United half. Clearly Sunderland have come for a point here today. They're making it very difficult for Manchester United to break them down. But you say in that, Deno, Mata, Rooney, Memphis, these type of players, this is why, that they are top players. They need to get on the ball, and it's going to take something special, because at this moment Sunderland have defended really well.
Pantilimon with a clearance from Kabul's back pass. Another goal in Inverness, Dave Donaldson.
And it's gone the way of Inverness again. Inverness 2, Aberdeen 0. Ryan Christie will be leaving to join Celtic next season with an absolute cracker from 25 yards, which flew past Danny Ward. Inverness 2, Aberdeen 0.
It's a goal kick that Sunderland are going to take, and we've been playing now past the half-hour mark. 31 minutes played, still no goals. Remember, Liverpool lead Aston Villa by a goal to 0. 1-1 at Leicester. West Ham 0, Norwich 1. Goalless at Stoke City. Southampton leads Swansea by a goal to 0. So the leaders Aberdeen are behind. What about second place Celtic? against third-placed Hearts. Roddy Fasai.
Neither of them has made any inroads. It's still scoreless here, although why Celtic haven't put the ball in the net is a mystery. They've had several chances, including a couple of one-on-ones to the normally predatory Griffiths, and he's put them straight at Neil Alexander. So after half an hour, Celtic 0, Hearts 0.
Well, this is the only goalless game in the Premier League. The reason being at Stoke City. Juliet Farrington.
And it's Stoke who lead Bournemouth by 1-0, and the goal scorer, John Walters, who just turned the ball in off the near post. It was a little bit of a goal scramble, but Walters got the ball in. Stoke lead Bournemouth by 1-0.
Portsmouth, who are still unbeaten in League Two, are leading at Bristol Rovers by 1-0. There's a Sunderland player down here. Meanwhile, there's been a goal at Bolton. Dave Woods.
Bolton 0, Brighton 1 against the run of play, but a real mix-up by Ben Amos. The ball played into him. He couldn't keep hold of it. Bobby Samora was able to work it back to the edge of the area, and in came Dale Stevens to crack it home. It's Bolton 0, Brighton 1.
And news of that Portsmouth goal with Carl Roberts.
Alongside Leicester and Brighton, Pompey, the only unbeaten side in all four divisions. They've taken the lead against Bristol Rovers. Gareth Evans with a header from a corner. 30 minutes on the clock here. Bristol Rovers 0, Portsmouth 1.
It's Barini who's down. I think it was a slip by Valencia, wasn't it? And he's caught him on the follow-through.
Yeah, it was. It was totally accidental by Valencia. But he certainly catches Barini. But again, no yellow cards, nothing of that shown from the referee. And good play from Michael Carrick, actually kicking the ball out to play. That's why the crowd were up in arms here. The United crowd wanted Carrick to push on, but he kicked it out to play.
Straight to Upton Park, a goal. John Southall.
West Ham back in it. West Ham 1, Norwich City 1. Payet down the right-hand side. Really good ball into Sacco. Sliding in, 4 yards out. West Ham 1, Norwich 1.
Pat Murphy promised further goals. He was right.
Goal to Arsenal is 2-1. It's been scored by Sanchez. Leicester and their fans not happy because they thought that Okazaki was impeded in an attack about 30 seconds earlier. They lost their concentration. Sweeping move, side-footed in by Alexis Sanchez. They come from behind Leicester. It's Leicester 1, Arsenal 2.
And elsewhere, it's Yeovil 0, Hartlepool United 1 as Lee Cattermole back towards O'Shea. Barini's back on the field of play. So Liverpool lead Aston Villa 1-0, Leicester 1, Arsenal 2, West Ham 1, Norwich 1, Stoke 1, Bournemouth 0, Southampton 1, Swansea 0, and Mike Jones, the referee, has given a free kick to Sunderland.
Yeah, Chris Smalling all over Barini, correct decision, leaning over his shoulders. Barini does well. That's what you need when you're up on your own. You need your centre forward to win your free kicks, to be busy, to always be available. And Sunderland are taking a well-earned couple of seconds here, just regrouping and getting together.
Every outfield player is in the Manchester United half. Sunderland are playing in their green shirts from right to left. They've just formed a little huddle there. There was 5 of them. O'Shea, Kabul and Lenz now walk away, and it's left with Johnson and Envere. It's Johnson to curl it in to the penalty area, headed up in the air and then headed away by Smalling. Jones will win it back for Sunderland, but they've run into trouble, and now Schneiderlin will look to bring that ball clear. Memphis, early ball out towards Martial. Cattermole's the last covering man, and Cattermole will slide and play the ball all the way back towards Pantilimon. Sunderland supporters in terrific voice away to our right-hand side. 10 minutes to go. But now Martial has gone down and he's clutching his left ankle. So whilst he's down, and there's been a few stoppages here in this first half, we'll go to Southampton and Jonathan Overend.
Southampton 1, Swansea 0. O'Connor has finally calmed down a little bit, but I think it's Gary Monk who'll be asking the questions at half-time, particularly of his Swansea's defending of that set piece, which led to the goal. Van Dijk's header inside the 6-yard box. Fabianski rooted to his line. There was no one on the post either. It was simple for Southampton, who lead Swansea 1-0.
Martial still getting treatment. Some of the Sunderland supporters are trying to do the Poznan, to copy, of course, United's arch-rival City, to wind them up. The stewards in their luminous jackets with that thin line. Everybody on their feet and plenty of vocal backing from Sunderland. Martial is at least on his feet. 0-0. We'll go back to West Ham and John Southall.
West Ham 1, Norwich City 1, but West Ham on top now. Payet just beginning to pull the strings. A Lanzini free kick, 25 yards out, just wide. West Ham 1, Norwich 1.
Birmingham 0, Rotherham 1. Wigan have just taken the lead at Boundary Park in League One, and Kilmarnock are leading Hamilton 1-0 at Rugby Park in the Scottish Premiership. Dave Woods, meanwhile, has another goal in the Championship.
Bolton 0, Brighton 2 now. Jamie Murphy has just finished a fantastic break from Brighton inside their own half. Zamora playing the part at the edge of the area. Rossignol pulling it across the edge of the box. And Murphy tucked it home. It's Bolton 0, Brighton 2.
In League One, Barnsley still lead Gillingham by a goal to nil. Bury at Gig Lane lead Coventry by a goal to nil. Chesterfield still leading the leaders Burton by a goal to nil. Millwall are 1-0 up against Rochdale. Oldham 0, Wigan 1 as we'd mentioned. And Fleetwood leading Port Vale 1-0. 1-1 between Sheffield United and Doncaster, and Scunthorpe are leading at Southend United 1-0. Swindon 1, Colchester 1, and you're up to date in that division where there's been goals. Here is Rooney back towards Mata. To Rooney once again. The England captain playing it forward towards Valencia. Delightful flighted ball forward. Valencia cuts infield into the penalty area, overruns it, but might win a corner off the legs of Catamol. The clearance strikes the hand of Johnson. Handball. Direct free kick for Manchester United, and it's going to be a yellow card for Adam Johnson.
Rightly so as well, Adam Johnson. I don't know what he's doing there, handball in there, just about 10 yards outside his own penalty box. He's now given United in this last 6 or 7 minutes before half time a real good opportunity to get a shot on Pantilemon's goal.
Sheffield United lead Doncaster Rovers by 2-1. Brentford are down to 10 men, 0-0 against Sheffield Wednesday, but Tarkowski's been sent off, and Barnet now lead Dagenham Redbridge by 2-0. So this is a free kick. It's a direct free kick for Manchester United, the only game in the Premier League where there hasn't been a goal. Memphis or Mata. It's left of centre. It's about 25 yards out from goal, just short of. Sunderland have everybody back. Memphis is eyeing it up. It's left to Memphis, right-footed, and in the end it was very, very gentle, wasn't it, as it floated over the wall.
Weak as you like there. But it's been the same from Mata as well on this right-hand side. Whenever they've had that opportunity to put a real good ball in the box with pace and power, they failed to do it. They missed the front man there. Memphis, terrible effort there from a player of his quality.
Southend have just equalised against Scunthorpe 1-1. Sheffield Wednesday have made that extra man count. They made 10 changes, of course, at Newcastle in midweek, and they're now leading Brentford by a 0 in the Championship. As Sunderland come forward with Van Arnholt, that'll be cleared and dealt with by Blint, and I think we're going to Inverness now with Dave Donaldson.
Yeah, Aberdeen right back in this one. Niall McGowan's corner from the left-hand side, met by Ash Taylor up from the back. He bulleted a header into the back of the net. Inverness 2, Aberdeen 1.
6 minutes to go to half-time. Manchester United 0, Sunderland 0. Regular observers of this fixture will know that Sunderland can make life awkward for Manchester United. Manchester United supporters will hope maybe for a little bit more end product in that final third. Bearing in mind Pantilimon has been tested just the once. Martial. Left corner of the penalty area, goes on the outside, tries to cut the ball back, turned behind by the Sunderland defence. It's a corner kick. And we'll quickly get an update of Italy-Canada with Ian Carter.
Stunning start to the second half from Canada with a brilliant try from Matt Evans, who burst 40 metres down the left wing to touchdown. Phil McKenzie thought he'd added a second, but it was disallowed for a forward pass on replay. So it's now Italy 13, Canada 15.
Ireland play tomorrow, of course, in that group against Romania. You'll hear it here on 5 Live. In comes the corner from the far side. Poor delivery, didn't beat the first man. Headed out. Doncaster losing 2-1 at Sheffield United are down to 10 men as well. Gary McKenzie has been sent off. As the throw from Manchester United. Plenty of urgency from the home team, John.
There's loads of urgency. It's just, surprisingly, it's just been that, that lack of quality, really, when they've got into the final third. And with the players that you're talking about, the Rooneys, the Matas, the Memphises, Martial's been neat and tidy, but without getting any attempts on goal. So it's been good for Manchester United, and Sunderland, you have to say, will be very, very happy going in at half-time, if they can just make it to half-time 0-0, of course.
Bayern Munich, they're 1-0 up against Mainz. Robert Lewandowski's on the score sheet yet again. Just the one goal so far, 6 minutes into the second half there, as Blint will come forward. And Blint, easily read by O'Shea, the former Manchester United player. He was such an excellent servant, just short of 400 appearances. Played in every position, even in goal for Manchester United, did the Irish international. And although he didn't necessarily start for Sunderland at the heart of their defence, he has all of a sudden become a little bit more of a steadying influence, and certainly he has been so far today for a Sunderland side that continues to frustrate Manchester United. 0-0. Back to Anfield, Ian Brown.
Still Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0, but some horrendous goalkeeping from Mignolet in the Liverpool goal. He punched away a half-hit cross shot from Hutton straight into a dangerous area. Liverpool had to scramble, and Westwood's shot was deflected away for a corner. Still Liverpool 1, Villa 0.
Arsenal have come from behind and are leading Leicester City by 2-1. West Ham 1, Norwich 1. Southampton leads Swansea by 1-0. Juliet Farrington has the latest from Stoke.
Where Stoke still lead Bournemouth by 1-0. They're on top, but Bournemouth having a decent spell. John Walters on the half hour, stabbing the ball home after great work from Arnautovic. Stoke 1, Bournemouth 0.
Manchester United are coming forward with Rooney. Has he picked the runner from Valencia? Yes, he has, at right back, level with the penalty area. Valencia will come forward, infield, short pass towards Mata, and that goes astray. Another goal for Dave Woods at Bolton.
Hold the back page, Bolton have scored a goal. Bolton 1, Brighton 2. Neil Downs, edge of the area, shot took a deflection that just took it past David Stockdale at the far post. It's Bolton 1, Brighton 2.
So we could be left with just two teams in England who are unbeaten, Brighton and Portsmouth, with Leicester City the only side in the top flight currently losing at home to Leicester City. However, we all know how Leicester City can produce comebacks. As Schneiderlin will chip the ball forward towards Memphis, headed away by O'Shea, and comfortably so, towards Johnson, who'll prod it forward. And then Mvir will pick up that loose ball towards Barini, and then Blint will slide in, and out of play it goes for a Sunderland throw. 2 minutes to go to half-time, John Hartson, still 0-0.
Yeah, well, we spoke about the impact Rooney and Martial could have. You know, Martial 4 in his last 4 games. Wayne Rooney playing in behind in the hole where I believe he likes to play. We thought that the Sunderland defence would come up, you know, right up against pressure today, but I'm not really, you know, they've been fairly comfortable, I have to say. O'Shea and Kabul, you know, United haven't got in behind them that many times, if at all, today. But I think, as I said earlier on, I think if Sunderland can get in at half-time, you know, drawing 0-0, Dick Advocaat will be delighted to get him in at half-time.
Martial 4 in 4. Listening to last night's programme with Mark Chapman, who had Henry Winter and Chris Sutton and Trevor Sinclair as his guest on the podcast, driving to Old Trafford this morning, and they said that in France, the reason that Martial is scoring so many goals is because the quality of the defence in the top flight in England. Well, if that's the case, you'd expect Toivonen and Tovan at Newcastle to fill their boots. However, that's not necessarily the way it's worked out either, as Rooney will shoot from distance, blocked by Catamol. Toivonen, who's on a season-long loan from Rennes, he only scored 7 goals. I mean, Martial, on his arrival at Old Trafford, only 15 senior goals in his career, 4 in 4. And as Chris Sutton said last night, let's give him praise for the way he's adapted straight away.
Absolutely, I think he'll be delighted himself, you know, for one so young. It's always important when you go to a new club, especially the size of Manchester United, to score early in your career. He's got a massive future ahead of him. He's done some really good things today for me, Martial.
Toivonen actually stopped the run of Martial there, played the ball forward that Schneiderlin tried to get onto, overran it, they've lost out. Now the ball is played forward, this is Lens. He's got Mvir and Barini. Johnson's running forward as well, and Johnson now finds himself in space in the penalty area, takes it on the chest. Booze for Adam Johnson, the former Manchester City player, and Darmian, excellent defending, and in fact was being fouled by Adam Johnson as well. And 4 minutes have added on time, which we're now into. Dundee 1, Ross County 2. Colchester back in front, 2-1 at Swindon. Rochdale have equalised at Millwall 1-1. Hibs have just equalised against St Mirren. And we'll go back to Stoke and Juliet Farrington.
We're going to have 9 minutes of added time at the end of the first half due to that injury to Callum Wilson. 2 lengthy stoppages that resulted in him looking in a really bad way and going down the tunnel on a stretcher with gas and oxygen and his head in his hands. Stoke lead by 1-0. The goal coming on the half hour through John Walters. But Bournemouth having a really decent spell. Great block by Eric Peters in the 6-yard box from Matt Ritchie. They forced a couple of corners, but it's still Stoke 1, Bournemouth 0, and we've got 9 minutes of added time.
Well, we're into just the 4 here. This is Lands coming forward for Sunderland. Central position, plays it short, now to the right. Johnson will shoot from distance, struck the body of Schneiderlin. Rooney midway through his own half lets the ball settle, plays it to Smalling, urged on by this crowd, who are wanting more, I think, from Manchester United. Easily dealt with in the air by Kabul. Catamol tidies up in the midfield. Mvir towards Johnson, exchanges passes. Mvir in the centre circle, foul by Schneiderlin, and he's just had a little word by referee Mike Jones, but they're in again no real hurry to take it. So Leicester City 1, Arsenal 2. Liverpool still lead Aston Villa 1-0. West Ham 1, Norwich 1. Stoke leading Bournemouth by 1-0. 9 minutes of injury time though due to that bad injury to Callum Wilson. Southampton 1, Swansea 0. Later on we'll have updates of Newcastle Chelsea, Sports Report followed by 6:06, and then Rugby Union. England against Wales in that potentially decisive game to see who would go through with Australia. Certainly will have a huge bearing on who goes through to the knockout stages. The build-up from 7, kick-off at 8, live from Twickenham on your Rugby Union World Cup Station 5 live. Here is Johnson. He's popped up on the left though for Sunderland, keeping the ball and not really being fazed by this, are they?
No, I think, time added on into the first half, and it's Sunderland having their best spell of the game. They're making Manchester United run around. They're keeping the ball. They look very confident. And as the half have gone on, Sunderland would have grown in confidence, certainly.
Dean Windus' son, Josh Windus, he scored a couple last week for Accrington. He's on the score sheet again, this time from the penalty spot, because Crawley 0, Accrington 1. Millwall are back in front against Rochdale in League One. Ball played forward towards Barini. Goalkeeper De Gea is quickly off his line. There were no other latest scores to tell you about, but they are at half-time now at Leicester. Arsenal are leading by 2-1 at the break. We'll be going around all the grounds, back with Mark Chapman as Martial's low ball is swept away by Kabul. But Sunderland, let's give them credit, they've protected Pantilimon exceptionally well.
Yes, they have. Catamol's been excellent, I have to say. He's been disciplined, he's picked up the second balls, and they've just been awkward. He's in.
Ball played forward, Mata, turn back in! Memphis, the flag stays down! Memphis with his first Premier League goal, and Manchester United, just as we were praising the Sunderland defence, in injury time, scores the opening goal. High ball played in, nobody picked out the run of Mata. He went for goal, but in the end he squared it across the face of goal, and Memphis could hardly miss. Manchester United 1, Sunderland 0.
That quality I'm talking about, a wonderful ball over the top. Mata times his run off the defender's shoulder for Sunderland. Mata stretching, squares it, and Memphis Depay comes in on the back post with a simple tap in. What a great time for United to score, but a bitter blow for Sunderland, who've been really gritty and hard to break down in this first half.
Got there just ahead of Billy Jones, and there'll be one word that maybe Dick Advocat might say to his players: concentration.
Concentration, never switch off. Basically, as soon as Sunderland kick off, you have to concede in. That'll be it, I think. Seconds before half-time now.
And as so many has been happening, it's the curse of the commentator. There we are praising the Sunderland defence. That lapse of concentration, nobody picks up the run of Mata, and they will find themselves going in a goal down at half-time, which is a neutral you'd have to say is possibly harsh.
A little bit harsh, but United, it's just that little bit of quality I spoke about, and they showed there. A pass over the top, wonderful ball across from Mata, and Memphis, credit to him, he's in the right place at the right time to put United 1-0 up here at half-time.
So almost the last kick of the half, and Manchester United, through that goal, lead Sunderland 1-0.
Thank you very much, Ian and John. Accrington have just doubled their lead at Crawley with 0-0 just 2 or 3 minutes ago. It's now Crawley 0, Accrington 2. Accrington down to 10 men in that as well. Pat Murphy alongside me here at the King Power Stadium. There's a man in front of us who works for another radio station. We won't say what that radio station is, but he turned around to us after that 45 minutes when that was fantastic. And it was, wasn't it?
Electrifying start, and it continued. Leicester 1, Arsenal 2. High octane, counter-attacking from both sides. Any amount of talking points. Vardy scored again early on. He also headed against the bar. He also hit the post. Tremendous counter-attacking from Arsenal. Walcott against Huth, an unequal struggle, that one. Walcott equaliser early on. Then Sanchez, the big controversy. We had Vardy and Okazaki counter-attacking as usual at pace. Arteta brought down Okazaki. Never mind whether it was intentional or not. No foul. Leicester lost concentration up the other end. Sanchez bundled it in. Tremendous game. No idea how this is one going to end up. It's Arsenal leading Leicester 2-1. Never forget the fat lady singing for Leicester City in the 90th minute.
Exactly, thank you very much, Pat. Right, let's go to Anfield. First goal in the 3 o'clocks in the Premier League came there. Ian Brown.
Yes, and at half-time it's still Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0. A dreamboat start for Liverpool, only 66 seconds played when captain James Milner finished off a slick team move with a left footer from 20 yards for his first Liverpool goal. It instantly made for a more forgiving Anfield atmosphere. Guzan then saved from Ings and Moreno. Ings fired over and Liverpool were looking decent, but Villa have stuck with it. Gested has missed out twice for them on rare attacks. He should have scored at least one of them. Mignolet again looks insecure in the Liverpool goal, so the job isn't done. Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0.
Let's go to Upton Park next. West Ham against Norwich. John Southall.
1-1 at half-time, very watchable, dominated by Norwich for the first half hour, during which time Robbie Brady scored his first goal for the club. He was gifted it by Mark Nolan. Johnny Howson and Cameron Jerome could have added a second before Diafra Sakho equalised from a Dimitri Payet cross. And what a difference the goal made. West Ham suddenly infused with belief. Lanzini twice and Sakho once could have added a second. Dimitri Payet's a gathering force in the game, but Norwich a constant threat going forward. West Ham 1, Norwich 1.
Next we'll go to St Mary's. Jonathan Overend.
Half-time, Southampton 1, Swansea 0. Scrappy first half, belonging mainly to Southampton, who threatened in patches and frustrated in others. The goal after 10 minutes, left wing corner, in-swinger, Virgil van Dijk up from the back, but actually inside the 6-yard box when he headed into the near post. Fabianski rooted to his line, the defenders not doing much better. For Swansea, Shelvey a couple of efforts from distance, but Gomez up front has barely had a touch. Looking in grave danger, Swansea, of going an entire month without scoring a goal. It's Southampton 1, Swansea 0.
I think it's going to be a while before we hear the half-time whistle at Britannia Stadium due to a horrible injury for Callum Wilson. Juliet Farrington.
We reckon we've got another 2 minutes to go of this stoppage time. We've had 9 minutes at the end of the first half. The first half petering out here, though no real clear-cut chances as we approach half-time. That injury to Callum Wilson, 2 lengthy stoppages in play. Eventually he ended up on a stretcher, carefully lifted onto that and down the tunnel here at the Britannia Stadium. That was really early on. Stoke taking the lead through John Walters just past the half-hour mark. Stoke 1, Bournemouth 0.
Thank you very much, Jules. Let's go into the Scottish Premiership. David Donaldson at Inverness.
Inverness 2, Aberdeen 1. A goal from Miles Storey and a wonder strike from Ryan Christie. Stunned top of the table Aberdeen in the first 30 minutes. But Ash Taylor pulled one back for Aberdeen to get them back in it on 35 minutes. But they do have goalkeeper Danny Ward to thank for a string of top quality saves to keep them in this match. Inverness 2, Aberdeen 1.
Roddy Forsyth is watching second place Celtic at home to Hearts.
In the only game in the Scottish Premiership that doesn't have a goal, though who knows why. And right now I would imagine Lee Griffiths is asking himself that question. 3 1-1s with Alexander in the Hearts goal, and he put them all straight at the goalkeeper. That's why at half-time East End of Glasgow, Celtic 0, Hearts 0.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Bolton. Leaders Brighton have had a decent first half at the Macron. Dave Woods.
Bolton 1, Brighton 2. Enjoyable first 45 minutes. Brighton against the run of play, taking the lead in the 30th minute. Ben Amos in the Bolton goal should have held on to the ball. He didn't. Zamora worked it out beyond the penalty area from where Dale Stevens cracked one in. 4 minutes later, a break from inside their own half ended with Liam Rossignol rolling the ball across the face of the goal and Jamie Murphy tucking it in for a second for Brighton. But a goal back for Bolton in the 40th. Neil Dans, a shot from the edge of the box that crept beyond Stockdale into the far post. Bolton 1, Brighton 2.
Next we'll go to Delith Lloyd, and Delith is where are you, Delith? My sheet's just blown away. Burnley Reading.
I'm high in the gods at Turf Moor, Mark. Yes, Burnley yet to lose at home this season, but it's Burnley 0, Reading 2 at the break. Terrific start for Reading. Nick Blackman fired low into the bottom corner from 18 yards after a neat pass from Hal Robson-Kanu for his 8th of the season. Lucas Pioppa then doubled the visitors' lead from close range on 9 minutes. Burnley's best chance fell to Sam Vokes, 10 yards out with the ball at his feet. He failed to get a proper shot on goal. They just haven't been able to break Reading down. The injured Andre Gray is sat in front of me in the press box. How he'll be wishing he was on the pitch. Burnley 0, Reading 2.
Thank you very much. Next to Naz Prem. Do you know, it doesn't sound the most exciting game at Hull, Naz.
It's okay, you know, Hull 0, Blackburn 0. I'd say pretty entertaining. Hull with the best chances so far. Overhead kicks off target for Abel Hernandez and Curtis Davies. Ahmed El Mohammadi fired from distance and forced a smart stop from Jason Steele. Blackburn's sole effort, a Jordan Rhodes header which McGregor saved well. Hopefully more goals in the second half. At the break it's 0-0.
Half-time whistle has gone at the Britannia Stadium, by the way, and it is Stoke 1, Bournemouth 0 at half-time. The other half-times in the Championship, it's Birmingham 0, Rotherham 1. Matt Derbyshire's second of the season for Rotherham giving them the lead. Brentford 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Brentford down to 10 men in that game. James Tarkowski has been sent off. Goalless between Cardiff and Charlton, and also goalless between Ipswich and Bristol City. Preston lead Wolves by a goal to nil. Daniel Johnson's fifth of the season. Joe Garner sent off for Simon Grayson's men midway through the first half. In the early game, if you haven't heard it, finished MK Dons 1, Derby 3. Into the Rugby Union World Cup at Ellen Road, Ian Carter.
Well, this is the rugby equivalent of the match you're watching, Mark, because it really is scintillating fair right now. The Italians have just nudged ahead. Gonzalo Garcia with a try after an excellent line-out move, gained the territory. Tommy Allen converted. Italy leading here by 20 points to 15.
Thank you very much. Let's go into League One in the football. Burton, the leaders at Chesterfield. Sahel Sahi.
Where they're trailing at half-time by a goal to nil. A Sam Hurd header from a corner kick after 2 minutes put Chesterfield into the lead. After that setback, the leaders of League One, Burton, they've responded well. Nasser Kayati had a shot cleared off the line, and Lucas Akins made a real mess of an effort when one-on-one with the Chesterfield goalkeeper. Half-time, Chesterfield 1, Burton Albion 0.
Elsewhere then, Barnsley 2, Gillingham 0 in League One. Sam Winnell amongst the scorers for Barnsley with his fourth of the season. Goalless between Bradford and Peterborough. Bury lead Coventry by a goal to nil. Liam Clark, sixth of the season there. It's Fleetwood 1, Port Vale 0. Millwall 2, Rochdale 1. Oldham 0, Wigan 1. Max Power for Gary Caldwell's side. Sheffield United 2, Doncaster 1. Doncaster are down to 10 men in that game as well. Connor Salmon's third of the season, the second goal for Sheffield United. It's goalless between Shrewsbury and Blackpool. Southend 1, Scunthorpe 1, Swindon 1, Colchester 2 and Walsall 1, Crewe 1. League 2 half-times. Barnet 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Bristol Rovers 0, Portsmouth 1. We'll get an update on that in just a moment. The details: Cambridge 0, Stevenage 0, Carlisle 0, Newport County 0, Crawley 0, Accrington 2. Goalless between Exeter and Wickham, and between Luton and AFC Wimbledon. Mansfield 0, Plymouth 0, Northampton Town 0, Leyton Orient 0, Notts County 1, York 0. Izzy McLeod's fourth of the season for Notts County in that game. Oxford 0, Morecambe 0 and Yeovil 1, Hartlepool 1. Scott Fenwick's third of the season for Hartlepool. Ryan Bird's fourth of the season for Yeovil. Let's get details of Portsmouth's 1-0 half-time lead over Bristol Rovers from Carl Roberts.
Yes, Mark, Pompey's last 5 results have alternated between a draw and a win. They drew last week, so due a win this on that basis. And at half-time, they're 1-0 up and dominating against Bristol Rovers. Gareth Evans with the goal. He headed in Kyle Bennett's corner on 25 minutes. Evans could have had 2 more before half-time. Rovers restricted to just 2 shots, and with leaders Leyton Orient drawing, Pompey could end the day on top of League 2. Half-time, Bristol Rovers 0, Portsmouth 1.
In the Vanarama National League, Aldershot 0, Macclesfield 2, Barrow 0, Kidderminster 1, Boreham Wood 0, Altrincham 1, Braintree 0, Guiseley 0, Bromley 3, Chester 0. Goalless between Cheltenham and Tranmere. Forest Green behind to Gateshead. Forest Green 0, Gateshead 1. Lincoln City are 2-0 up on Torquay. Grimsby lead at Southport by 3 goals to 0. Welling 2, FC Halifax 0, Wrexham 0, Eastleigh 2. Back into the Scottish Premiership, you know about Celtic and Aberdeen. Elsewhere, Dundee 1, Ross County 3, Kilmarnock 1, Hamilton 0, Motherwell 1, Partick 0, St Johnstone 0, Dundee United 1. In the Championship, Alloa 0, Livingston 1, Hibs 1, St Mirren 1, Wraith 0, Dumbarton 0. In League 1, Albion 1, Stenhousemuir 0. Goalless in the games between Ayr and Peterhead and Brechin and Cowdenbeath. Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 1 and Forfar 0, Stranraer 1. And in League 2, Annan 1, Elgin 0, Clyde 1, Berwick 0, East Stirling 0, Arbroath 1, Montrose 1, East Fife 1, Stirling 1, Queen's Park 1. You are up to date with all the football. Don't forget, our build-up to England-Wales begins at 7 o'clock with Mark Pugach and the team at Twickenham. Full commentary from 8 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock you're up to date with everything. Here's the latest BBC News.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet. This is BBC 5 Live.
And with the 5 Live headlines at 4 o'clock, I'm Mike Young. More than 70 firefighters are now tackling a blaze at a mosque in Morden in South London. The fire is affecting large parts of the ground and first floors of the Betul Futu Mosque, which is thought to be one of the largest in Western Europe. A man's been taken to hospital suffering from smoke inhalation. A man's been found dead in East London from what's thought to be a gunshot wound. Armed police were called to Chatsworth Road in Lower Clapton this afternoon. He was pronounced dead at the scene. A rapist who went on the run from the UK has been arrested in Hong Kong. 31-year-old Joseph Sang was convicted in his absence last month of 2 counts of rape and sexual assault in Hampshire. He was also found guilty in January of sexual offences against children in Oxfordshire. The British government says it has no plans to follow the lead of Switzerland by banning the sale of some new Volkswagen Group cars in the wake of the diesel emission scandal. Volkswagen admitted this week that 11 million engines worldwide have been fitted with devices capable of cheating emissions tests. And councils in England and Wales are warning that hundreds of bus routes are being cut due to a lack of funding. The Local Government Association says tax rebates paid to bus operators should instead be paid to councils so they can prioritise services.
BBC 5 Live.
Investigative journalism doesn't have to be dry.
The assumption is perhaps a little misleading.
Despite the fact we've been doing a huge reform,
it's not good enough.
Bad organisation.
Where the targets are being met.
Based on the information provided by the caller.
5 Live investigates, cuts to the chase and gets to the bottom of the issues that affect you. This week we look at why people put their faith in so-called miracle drugs bought online in the UK, with some claiming they can cure a range of serious conditions from autism to cancer. 5 Live investigates this Sunday at 11 with me, Adrian Goldberg.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
We'll be back to Old Trafford shortly, where Manchester United leads Sunderland by 1-0. But there's been a big day of racing at Newmarket, and Derek Thompson is there.
Mark, we've just had an incredible finish to the Betfred Cambridgeshire, and it has been won by number 27, third time lucky. Adam Biscuits are on board for Richard Fahey. It's another big winner for the Northern trainer. Earlier, Shalar stamped his class as the best 2-year-old in Europe by winning the Juddmonte Middle Park Stakes. John Gosson says he's going to keep him to sprinting. Earlier on, Lumiere won the Red Mills Cheveley Park Stakes. She's now 10-1 for next year's 1,000 guineas. And Foundation laid his claim for next year's Derby by winning for trainer John Gosden and Frankie Dettori. It's been quite a day here at HQ.
Derek Thompson at Newmarket. Right then, at 4:45 you'll be able to listen to South Africa against Samoa at the Rugby Union World Cup on 5 Live Sports Extra. I would imagine, Chris Jones, there are a few nervous and worried South Africans around.
Very much so, after their humbling at the hands of Japan last weekend. Very much a do-or-die game this for South Africa, highly fancied by many to go all the way in this World Cup, but staring at a sensational group stage exit unless they win today against a Samoa side that will be out to cause some damage. Springbok coach Heineke Meyer has sounded like a man feeling the heat this week. He's emotionally backed his captain Jean de Villiers, who's moved to outside centre from inside centre, while other members of the old guard such as Victor Matfield, Schalk Berger and Farid Priya also need to justify their inclusions. Gorgeous day here at Villa Park, huge presence from those nervous South African fans, promises to be compelling and brutal.
Let's just go back to the game that's currently going on at Ellen Road. Ian Carter.
13 minutes to go. Italy 20, Canada 15. Canada have just come close to another try that potentially would have put them in front. Mauro Bergamasco is on for the Italians, playing a record equalling 5th World Cup. It's Italy 20, Canada 15.
And all the build-up to England-Wales from 7 o'clock with Mark Pugac and the team, and then full commentary from 8 o'clock. Back to an Englishman and a Welshman now. Ian Dennis and John Hartson at Old Trafford. Or not, as the case may be. Maybe they're still getting their half-time refreshments at Old Trafford. I don't know whether they're back underway. We're back underway here at the King Power at the moment, where it's Leicester 1, Arsenal 2. Pat Murphy is alongside me. Leicester have actually made a change, Pat, at half-time.
Ogasaki's gone off for Andy King. King, who got a late winner in the League Cup against West Ham early in the week. King, one of these inexhaustible players. He was a ball boy here at Leicester City. He's part of the fabric, and he makes a speciality of getting late winners. His kind of energy could be important here. They need to disrupt Arsenal's composed passing. Just now, Sanchez ran out of yards on the left. It was a very composed build-up featuring Ramsey. Their counter-attacking skills are obvious, and this is a big test for Leicester. It's the biggest test this season so far for them. They've gone toe-to-toe. Just at the moment, though, there's a bit of composure about Arsenal after that very difficult first quarter of an hour. It's Leicester 1, Arsenal 2.
The refreshing thing is that they have gone tie to tie. Thank you very much, Pam Murphy. Let's go back to Old Trafford. We'll try and get Ian Dennis this time.
Manchester United have just got their second goal, and it's Wayne Rooney who, almost on the goal line, has bundled it in, and the longest barren spell of his career is over. 11 games without a goal, but there he was on hand, and Manchester United increased their advantage after Martial on the right-hand side had worked the ball over. Rooney could hardly miss.
Well, Wayne Rooney won't score an easier goal for Manchester United. Martial does ever so well. Poor defending again from Sunderland, but Rooney got me 2 yards out, and it comes off his knee, hits Pantilimon and goes in the net. 2-0 United. That's the last thing Sunderland needed. A positive change from Sunderland at half-time. They brought on Stephen Fletcher to add a little bit of firepower alongside Barini for the second half. So the worst possible start for Sunderland. Manchester United 2-0 up.
You're talking a matter of 30 seconds before half-time and maybe 45 seconds after half-time, and Sunderland, bottom of the table, find themselves 2-0 down. They are the fine margins in the top flight. Our featured game in League One has been a goal. Chesterfield Sahil Sahi.
Bolton, the leaders, have equalised. Stuart Bevan with his 5th league goal of the season. It was scrappy near the near post, and he just whacked it in left-footed. Chesterfield 1, Bolton Albion 1.
Ipswich Town are leading Bristol City by a goal to 0 in the Championship. They're unbeaten against Bristol City, would you believe, at home since 1978, and that proud record may well be continuing. So the change that Dick Advocat made at half-time was Fletcher coming on for Adam Johnson, but all of a sudden now it's a different mindset for Sunderland, because they've got to get 2 goals to get back into the game, and that's the worry now, that Manchester United will be able to pick them off in the second half. John Hartson.
Well, you could almost say it's killed the game now. I think it's certainly Man United's 3 points now to give away. I think Sunderland, the fact they conceded 3 minutes into time added on in the first half, terrible time to concede a goal, and then you think they make a positive change, they bring on another centre forward at half time, and then they concede within 45 seconds. A really sloppy defensive mistake again from Sunderland. It's Martial who they fail to take the ball off. Clever feet, and again into Rooney, but an awful start to the second half. 2-0 down, and they would almost say now they've got a mountain to climb of Sunderland.
Charlton Athletic are leading Cardiff City by a goal to 0 in the Championship. Toivonen with a half-hit shot on the edge of the penalty area been dealt with. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service to Old Trafford, where Manchester United, when you were in conversation with Steve Harper at half-time, we said we're leading by a goal to 0, and Wayne Rooney, immediately after the restart, it seems, from that Martial low cross from the right, has scored his first Premier League goal of the season. And not only that, it means he is now level with Dennis Law in terms of league goals for the club. He's level now with the great Dennis Law in 171, and he edges ever closer to Dennis Law's record of 237. He's just 2 behind in the second all-time list of United goal scorers. So Bobby Charlton, who is here today, is out in front with 249. Let's go to Carl Roberts, who's watching Bristol Rovers against Portsmouth in League Two.
And Bristol Rovers have equalised against Portsmouth, and it's the Welsh international Jermaine Easter with his second goal of the season. Half volley off the underside of the crossbar, may have hit Aaron McCrary on the way down, but it's Bristol Rovers 1, Portsmouth 1.
The leaders Burton Albion in League One are level at Chesterfield, that's 1-1, and we are up to Hamilton have equalised at Kilmarnock in Rugby Park, and we're up to date with all of the goals as they go in around the country on 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC. But Manchester United lead Sunderland by 2 goals to 0. They're going top of the Premier League, and charted territory, of course, for Louis van Gaal. And Manchester United slowly but surely going about their business, and Memphis coming forward, who's been pushed off the ball by Billy Jones, who's just been booked, but referee Mike Jones saying no foul. So De Gea in goal for Manchester United, a back forward Valencia at right back, Smalling, Blint and Darmian at left back, Carrick and Schneiderlin, Mata, Rooney, Memphis and Martial. Sunderland now line up with Pantilimon in goal, a back four of Jones, Kabul, O'Shea and Van Arnholt, and Villa and Catamol. Fletcher has replaced Johnson, Toivonen Lenz and Barini. Here is Memphis. Memphis into the penalty area, cleared by Kabul. Let's go to Ellen Rowe for an update on the Rugby Union. Italy, Canada, Ian Carter.
Italy are clinging on. They're leading by 20 points to 18. Nathan Hirayama with a penalty for Canada after the Italians were offside in front of the post. Means it's a 2-point ball game right now. 7 minutes to go. Italy 20, Canada 18.
The big game tonight you'll hear on 5 Live, England-Wales. Our coverage starts at 7 o'clock for that 8 o'clock kickoff for that game in Pool A. A misplaced pass by Smalling, but Sunderland have dropped so deep that Darby and John Hartson was able to pick up that loose ball.
Well, what do they do now, Sunderland? They have to come and have a goal. They've got to try and get back into the game. They're 2-0 down.
Cross comes in and it's going to fall towards Rooney. Meanwhile, there's been a goal at Southampton. Jonathan Oberend.
2-0 to Southampton, and it's Tadic with the second, and it was lovely play really. Pella just lobbed the ball over the last line of defence at close range, though it was a deft touch, and then likewise from Tadic from a really acute angle just chipped the ball over Fabianski as he went to ground, and it's Southampton 2, Swansea 0.
Wycombe Wanderers are leading Exeter in League 2 by a goal to 0. Sunderland may well be thinking of damage limitation, although they do come forward now here with Fletcher, but he's been fouled by Schneiderlin. We'll go to West Ham and John Southall.
West Ham 1, Norwich 1, but really good chance for West Ham. Moses crossed from the right, and there was Sacco 6 yards out with a header. Ruddy saved with his legs. West Ham 1, Norwich 1.
The Sunderland supporters aren't too impressed with referee Mike Jones because it was a cynical foul by Schneiderlin. He knew what he was doing to take out Fletcher, but he escaped with just a warning.
Yeah, and 5 minutes before, I think a Sunderland player actually got booked for a similar offence on Memphis Depay. So again, you talk about the inconsistency, but going back to the earlier point there now, Manchester United, if you're going to try and come out, and if Sunderland are trying to get back into this game, then they'll need to push players forward, but that could be dangerous as well, because then all of a sudden you look at United on the counter with Martial and Memphis in particular, but a chance there for Sunderland.
It was O'Shea, I think, who popped out of the far post. It was blocked by the knees of De Gea. It was a free kick curled in. Toivonen knocked it down, a little bit of a scramble. Manchester United have cleared. Red shirts, white shorts and black socks, playing from right to left now in the second half. United attacking the Stretford end, and Sunderland in their change strip of green. Toivonen pushed in the back by Smalling, and Carrick will just pop the ball off. And it'll be seen back by Valencia playing at right back towards De Gea. He's got time to clear and strikes it away downfield. Manchester United going to the top of the table, leading Sunderland by 2-0 to Anfield and Ian Brown.
Still Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0, 12 minutes gone in the second half, but Liverpool is certainly hunting this second goal now. Milner's shot was kept up by Guzan, the rebound fell to Klein. It looked as though he might well score, but it was blocked by Amavi, and then a free kick on the edge of the area from Coutinho, through the wall, well read by Brad Guzan. It's still Liverpool 1, Villa 0.
What I say, an encouraging response by Sunderland. We talked about damage limitation, however, they've shown a little bit of adventure in the last few moments. That was a good ball in from the right-hand side by Lenz. It was a curling ball in. It's been dealt with. It's a corner kick, though, that Sunderland have got, and Vera's going to take it. The green shirts are forward. Disappointing, though. Up in the air by Carrick. They haven't dealt with it, Manchester United. Punched away by De Gea. He almost took the head off Smalling. Comes back out towards Mvere on the right-hand side. 5 minutes into the second half. There's a goal at Leicester, Pat Murphy.
It's gone to Arsenal, and the second one for Alexis Sanchez. A smooth counter-attack and a lovely little chip there from Mesut Ozil. But the comparatively small Sanchez beat the tall Schmeichel in that header. He beat them to the punch, and that is a blow for Leicester. It's Leicester 1, Arsenal 3.
Goal at Anfield, Ian Brown.
Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0, and Daniel Sturridge is back. What a finish by him with a volley from 10 yards out after a flick into his path by James Milner. Emphatic finish by the England striker. A volley on his right foot. It flashed beyond Brad Guzan, and for the first time this season, Liverpool have got 2 goals in a match. It's Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0.
Bristol City have just equalised at Portman Road in the Championship. It's 1-1. Sunderland go all the way back from Catamol on halfway towards Pantilimon. You look at the next 3 league games for Manchester United, though, John, and as we talk about them going top and whether they're going to, sustain this title challenge.
Original British drama on BBC One. I'm going to tell you a story of the Doctor. On the run, no TARDIS, no friends.
What do you want? Clara Oswald, safe, alive, and return to me immediately.
Your compassion is your downfall. Born to save the universe.
You will be exterminated.
Doctor Who continues.
Ah, well, go on then. Exterminate away.
Tonight at 7:45 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
We're obviously having a few technical issues with the line from Old Trafford. I'm here at the King Power Stadium where it's still Leicester 1, Arsenal 3. I think the line is back up to Ian and John at Old Trafford.
Well, Ian, yes. John, no, not for the time being. However, Manchester United are leading by 2-0 as now they come forward to the Sunderland. It's with Fletcher, and that was in an offside position. Van Aanholt, who's pushed up on that left-hand side, and that was the reason he was unable to chase that ball, and it's with De Gea. So Manchester United lead by 2-0. Memphis with the first goal in the Premier League just before half-time, and Rooney just after the break. Manchester United going top of the Premier League 7 minutes into the second half. Andrew Davis has been sent off for Ross County in the Scottish Premiership. Elsewhere in the top flight, as Bristol City have come from behind and are now leading at Portman Road by 2-1. It's Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0, Leicester 1, Arsenal 3. So their unbeaten run in the Premier League will be coming to an end despite taking the lead. West Ham 1, Norwich 1, Stoke City 1, Bournemouth 0, Southampton 2, Swansea 0. And there are no other goals to tell you around. 5 live in the World Service, live here at Old Trafford, 8 minutes into the second half. Here is Schneiderlin, red shirts, white shorts and black socks, playing from right to left, and Rooney, comfortable now for Manchester United, will play the ball out towards Mata. He's got time to stand still and wait for that ball to come towards him. Cuts in now for the right touchline, plays it short, diagonal, back from Rooney towards Mata. Midway through the Sunderland half. Mata to Darmian, Memphis in close proximity, a little layoff there from the Dutchman, and it's with Schneiderlin, and they're going to keep the ball over the home side now, and Smalling will roll that ball up towards Valencia, who's pushed up on that far side, back towards Schneiderlin. Here is Schneiderlin now coming forward. Manchester United looking for a third goal. Rooney, and as John Hartson said, it's killed the game in many respects as Rooney goes for an ambitious crossfield ball to try and split that Sunderland defence. Valencia had got forward and he couldn't keep it in play, and it goes out for a goal kick. So let's go to John Southall at West Ham.
Where it's West Ham 1, Norwich 1, and the West Ham goalkeeper Adrian just receiving treatment at the moment, made a save, took the ball by the look of it full in the face, and it's down just getting the treatment. At the other end of the pitch, Cameron Jerome denied brilliantly by Adrian in the West Ham goal, and at the other end Dimitri Payet skipped past his marker, shot brilliantly saved by Ruddy. West Ham 1, Norwich 1. We've also had the sight of Johnny Howson carrying a pigeon off the pitch.
And there's been a goal at Southampton. Jonathan Overend.
3-0 to Southampton, and now Mane is in on the act, and well, what's that? 11 goals in a week for Ronald Koeman's side in all competitions. Gotta say, Swansea, who made a double change at the break, have been absolutely awful today. Southampton 3, Swansea 0.
Yep, they've certainly found their range in filling their boots this week. MK Dons, of course, suffered for a heavy defeat in the League Cup in midweek as Schneiderlin looks for another long-range ball out from midfield in his own half, and that goes out of play for a goal kick. 10 minutes into the second half then, Manchester United, who have never lost a game at Old Trafford when they've been leading at half-time. They were just ahead at the break and continue that proud record because they're now 2-0 up. And for Sunderland, still yet to keep a clean sheet. There'll be no clean sheet in 9 games this season, and they're going to remain at the foot of the Premier League. Newcastle United, of course, who are just ahead of them down at the bottom. And a time where derby is coming up on the horizon, a couple of weeks after the international break. Well, what a game that's going to be. Newcastle United against Chelsea. Regular updates on 5 Live a little later on. But here we are at Old Trafford. Manchester United dominating possession, and it's with Schneiderlin to Blint, and Sunderland back off the red shirts of Manchester United. Back to Schneiderlin once again, and it's with Carrick, and O'Shea will step forward. And Catamol will play a ball forward, and that's cut out by Darmian, who will hold up Lenz. And here is Catamol once again picking up that ball in the centre circle for Sunderland, looking for a way back into the game, picks out the run of Van Aanholt into the penalty area. Van Aanholt, strong running, good save again by De Gea. You know, John Hartson, that's the third save that De Gea has made with his legs this afternoon.
Yeah, good play from Van Aanholt on the left-hand side. Great strike, De Gea, good save with his feet. But good to see Sunderland being positive, 2-0 down. As I said, they got a mountain to climb now, but they're still very positive, still trying to throw bodies forward.
Are the crumbs of comfort, do you think, to take for this Sunderland performance, bearing in mind they're playing at Manchester United? But you could argue that De Gea has made more saves than Pantilimon.
Well, yeah, and the good thing is De Gea has not had a lot to do, but when he did have that save to make, then he's sharp, he's on his toes, and he makes a really good save with his feet from Van Aanholt.
The hallmark of a good goalkeeper, isn't it, for his concentration levels? But look at the space that Wayne Rooney's allowed to run into, and he sends over the cross, just taken away from him by O'Shea. Watchful defending by O'Shea to head it clear of Memphis, picked up by Martial, back towards Memphis, plays it out towards Darmian. Darmian on the left-hand side, and it'll come off the legs of Mvia and out for a throw to Manchester United. Down by the tunnel area here, away in the left-hand corner. Manchester United 2, Sunderland 0. They've taken that throw, and here is with Memphis. Lovely little footwork. Another goal for Ian Brown at Anfield.
Aston Villa are back in the game. It's Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 1. Villa were taking a bit of a pounding. Liverpool were threatening a third. Then all of a sudden, Alan Hutton to the dead ball line on the right. Delicious ball into the 6-yard box. Liverpool hesitated. Rudy Gested turned it in from close range. Liverpool 2, Villa 1.
Wycombe have got a second goal at Exeter. Millwall now lead Rochdale by 3-1 at the New Den. It's Barnet 3, Dagenham Redbridge 0. Kilmarnock 1, Hamilton 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, as Rooney will play the ball out towards that far side. Peterborough under their new manager Graham Westley, his first game in charge, leading at Valley Parade. Bradford City 0, Peterborough 1. St Johnstone have equalised at home to Dundee United, and you're up to date on 5 Live in the World Service. Another goal at Anfield, Ian Brown.
Straight down the other end, Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 1. What a cute goal it was too. Coutinho with a back heel into the path of Daniel Sturridge, and he took aim and rolled the ball ever so securely beyond Guzan into the bottom corner. Sturridge has 2, Liverpool 3, Villa 1.
So the latest scores in the Premier League: Liverpool lead Aston Villa 3-1, Arsenal are 3-1 up at Leicester City, West Ham 1, Norwich 1, Stoke City still lead Bournemouth by 1-0 due to that serious injury to Callum Wilson. They're effectively 9 minutes behind every other game, and Southampton lead Swansea 3-0. Manchester United leading here by 2-0, urged to come forward. Rooney's given the ball away, and Sunderland are in possession, and it's with Van Aanholt, but he's now been caught and dispossessed by Darmian. Uncomfortable for Manchester United. John Hartson.
Yeah, well, again, it's pretty comfortable for Manchester United. They got that 2-goal advantage, of course. Sunderland, yeah, they've kept going, but I think they're still wary of pushing too many men forward, try and get back into this game, simply because United on the counter could have the potential to destroy Sunderland this afternoon. De Gea's not had a lot to do in the United goal. Pantilimon, strangely enough, Deno's not been that busy, but of course United are 2 goals to the good.
Full time now in the rugby. Pool D at Ellen Road. Italy, Canada in the World Cup. Ian Carter.
Italy have squeaked home and keep themselves in the tournament. 23-18, a penalty in the last moments from Tommy Allen after the Italian scrum took over. But what a performance from the Canadians. They led 10-0. They scored 2 magnificent tries through Van der Merwe and Evans. Italy hit back. Garcia with the second of the tries. Rizzo with his first international try with the other one. And it was the boot of Allen that made the difference. Final score: Italy 23, Canada 18.
Thank you, Ian. South Africa Samoa starts at 4:45. You'll be able to hear that on 5 Live Sports Extra. And then the small matter of England Wales on 5 Live at 8. The build-up starts at 7. Well, Bastian Schweinsteiger is going to be coming on. Michael Carrick, who always seems to be the player to make way around the hour mark. We'll wonder if that trend continues. Of course, they'll have an eye on the Wolfsburg game in midweek, won't they, John? In the Champions League, a game you can hear on 5 Live.
Yeah, they will. They'll take confidence into that game Wednesday night in the Champions League, of course, which becomes a very important game. United losing out to PSV, got beat over there. So second game of the group, United certainly will want to get back on track with 3 points.
Porto against Chelsea on Tuesday night on 5 Live. Manchester United, Wolfsburg are the two commentaries. West Brom against Everton on Monday night. The Monday Night Club will come with Mark Chapman live from the Hawthorns. Watford Crystal Palace tomorrow's on Sports Extra because of the Rugby Union. Wall-to-wall rugby on 5 Live tomorrow, as Rooney will play the ball out towards Memphis. Memphis on the left-hand side, cuts in on his right foot, still going into the penalty area, then held up, and Mvia will then clear the ball, and maybe a break on here. And it's with Lenz looking towards Fletcher. Fletcher will get onto that ball as well. He'll try and shield it and run away from Smalling, who's trying to stick with him down towards the corner flag. Good defending by Smalling. He really has come on this season.
Yeah, and the good thing about Manchester United now, you look at their back four, Smalling and Daley Blind. Them two are predominantly play together.
Now they've got 2-on-1. Memphis is played in. Memphis, good save by Pantilimon. It was Martial who just played it towards Memphis. He shot straight at Pantilimon, who made the save. Manchester United still lead by 2-0 almost midway through the second half to Anfield and Ian Brown.
Unbelievably, Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 2. Villa won't go away. Deep cross from Amavi and a wonderful soaring header on the run from Rudy Gested. It's his second goal for Villa this afternoon. It's Liverpool 3, Villa 2, and we've still got 20 minutes left.
5 goals there, 4 at Leicester. Leicester 1, Arsenal 3, West Ham 1, Norwich City 1, Southampton 3, Swansea 0. As the substitution is being made here to Stoke City and Juliet Farrington.
Had substitutions here as well. It's still Stoke 1, Bournemouth 0. We played 64 minutes because of that injury to Callum Wilson in the first half. That's the reason we're so behind the rest of the Premier League 3 o'clock kickoffs. The rumours, by the way, and talk at half time is that it's suspected knee ligament damage. It was so horrible to watch on the screens that we have here in the press area, and then of course the stretcher being called on by Lee Mason as Wilson was taken down the tunnel. Second substitution for Stoke is that Juve came on for Bojan, and also Shaqiri, an injury concern there for Mark Hughes, but only a hamstring problem, and he was replaced by Athalai just on the stroke of half time. But 64 minutes played here at the Brit. It's Stoke 1, Bournemouth 0.
A goal at Turf Moor. Deleth Lloyd.
Burnley back in it. Burnley 1, Reading 2. The right back Tendai Derrick were poking in from close range after a great whip cross from the left hand side. Burnley 1, Reading 2.
Port Vale have equalised at Fleetwood. It's 1-1. Graham Wesley may well be getting off to a winning start because Peterborough United have increased their lead at Bradford City by 2-0. Coventry have got a goal back at Gig Lane in League 1. Bury 2, Coventry City 1. Rotherham now lead Birmingham City by 2-0 at St Andrews, and Motherwell now lead Partick Thistle 2-0 at Fir Park. Manchester United leading by the same scoreline. Here is Martial into the penalty area, taken off his toes by Kabul. Manchester United though threatening more goals. Here's Schweinsteiger. Bastian Schweinsteiger urged to shoot by the Stretford end. Plays the ball to Memphis, standing still, a casual ball in field, just stroked towards Rooney, lifted forward. Valencia joins the attack on that far side, the right, drops his shoulder, cuts back on the inside. He wants to go back on the outside again before working the cross. Martial's header over the top, goal kick. John Hartson.
Yeah, great play from Valencia. He twists and turns out on that right-hand side, whips in a really good ball, and it's Martial just leaning back, couldn't quite get the header down, but another good play from Manchester United, unlucky from Martial.
Back to Leicester and Pat Murphy.
It's still Leicester 1, Arsenal 3. Arsenal good value now, some salami slicing going on as they pour forward. But do Leicester have yet another redoubtable grandstand finish in them? Certainly wouldn't be the first time. Leicester 1, Arsenal 3.
Sebastian Larsson has replaced Ola Toivonen. Larsson, who scored the winner, the only time in 2014 that Sunderland have won since 1968, has come on to replace Toivonen, who's toiled away, and Manchester United still lead 2-0 as we go to find out, to check on the championship leaders Brighton at Bolton. Dave Woods.
Still Bolton 1, Brighton 2. Plenty of effort from both sides of the second half. Bolton are going to have a substitution here which holds up a corner. They're going to have the best chance of the half. There was a while back now. Liam Rosinia with a double effort. His first shot saved well by Amos. His second over the bar. So it remains Bolton 1, Brighton 2.
20 minutes remain here. For the Red of Manchester United, they're comfortable. They're 2-0 up. But for the Red of Liverpool, different story. Ian Brown.
Yeah, Yes, it's uncomfortable now. They were leading by 3 goals to 1 and 2-0, but it's Liverpool 3, Villa 2. Liverpool, though, almost scored a fourth. Free kick from outside of the penalty area by Coutinho, and Guzan made a very good stop high to his right-hand side to turn it away for a corner. It's still Liverpool 3, Villa 2.
West Ham and Norwich, watched by John Southall.
1-1, the game's just drifting slightly. Tale of two goalkeepers. John Ruddy saved brilliantly from Sacco and Payet, and Adrian's denied Johnny Howson and Cameron Jerome. West Ham 1, Norwich 1.
News of a goal in the Championship at Hull City. For Hull City, Naz Premji.
Hull 1, Blackburn 0. Mohammedi with the cross. Abel Hernandez from close range made no mistake. It's Hull 1, Blackburn 0.
And Newport County could be heading for their first win this season under Terry Butcher. Bottom of the table against Carlisle United, maybe struggling after their midweek exploits at Anfield. Carlisle top scorers in League 2, but the worst defence in League 2. Carlisle 0, Newport County 1. Barnet 3, Dagenham Redbridge 1. Shrewsbury leading Blackpool by 1-0. And you're up to date as we'll go to Jonathan Overend at Southampton.
3-0 for Southampton, and it's an absolute cruise. It really is, and 3 neat finishes, but concerning from a Swansea point of view. I'm sure Gary Monk standing there in the technical area looking out, and for all their goals and for their brisk start to the season, this has been a very stuttering performance. They're all looking a little lost out there. Southampton 3, Swansea 0.
Here is Darmian, the Italian international, playing at left back, quickly closed down by Catamol. Ball played up though towards Memphis, trying to roll away from Jones, plays it short and square towards Rooney, back towards Schweinsteiger. Manchester United leading by 2-0 on 5 Live in the World Service. Open the ball up and open the play up towards that right hand side. Now it's up towards Martial as Phil Jones, who came off as a substitute in midweek for the last 20 minutes, is going to get another run out for Manchester United. All important to give everybody in the squad a little bit of match time, especially with the games continuing to come thick and fast. Wolfsburg here in midweek. Rooney with a little back foot towards Mata, didn't quite come off, and Larson is able to bring that ball away for Sunderland, who haven't folded, John Hartson.
No, they've kept going, in all fairness to them, but from a Manchester United's point of view, they've
goes forward, and it's with out of play for a throw. So Jones is going to be coming on, and the player who's going to be coming off is Daley Blind, who I've got to say, John, was a wonderful ball, wasn't it, over the top?
Yeah.
For that first goal. It was a ball that was played up to set up. I mean, if it wasn't for Blind, you talked before about the quality for Mata in that first half, just before half time.
Yeah, well, from what's happening? From a Manchester United's point of view, Den, sorry, there's something, the line keeps breaking up. It's been as comfortable as you like, really. De Gea's hardly had a save to make. One save in the second half from Van Aanholt with his legs. And United, if you look at it, they've absolutely cruised to the top of the Premier League. I know they've been helped with Manchester City going down earlier in the day and Chelsea not starting the season particularly well. So you have to give them credit for that.
Memphis with a cross. Did Pantilimon get a touch? No, he didn't. He had it covered at the corner of that near post as Memphis drilled in the shot from the left-hand side. Manchester City heavily beaten at White Hart Lane, and Manchester United either side of half-time with a goal from Memphis, his first in the Premier League, and then for Wayne Rooney. And either goal they could hardly miss. You're not going to get 2 easier goals for Manchester United, but will take them to the summit. Manchester United 2, Sunderland 0. Let's get news of a goal though in League 2 at Bristol Rovers with Carl Roberts.
It's Bristol Rovers 1, Portsmouth 2. Jayden Stockley with the goal for Portsmouth. He only started the game because Adam McGurk pulled up in the warm-up, stuck a toe out as Lee Nichols, the Bristol Rovers goalkeeper, hesitated. It's Bristol Rovers 1, Portsmouth 2.
To Dave Woods at Bolton.
It's left to play. It's still Bolton 1, Brighton 2, but Brighton are down to 10 men for what's left. Jamie Murphy has just been sent off, from what looked like a very vicious tackle on Neil Downs, who's still having treatment down there. The referee out with the red card straight away. Murphy off. Brighton down to 10. Bolton 1, Brighton 2.
Port Vale lead Fleetwood by 2-1. Southend are back in front at home to Scunthorpe United, leading 2-1 at Roots Hall. Shrewsbury have increased their lead against Blackpool, now 2-0. Dundee 3, Ross County 3 in the Scottish Premiership. and Oldham have equalised at home to Wigan 1-1. Let's find out about the leaders in the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen at Inverness. Dave Donaldson.
Yeah, they're still trailing by 2-1. Aberdeen pressing hard for an equaliser, but so far failing to find it. They've thrown on David Goodwillie and Peter Pollett, but they haven't managed to find that goal yet. It's Inverness 2, Aberdeen 1.
Manchester United are going to be making another change. Ashley Young is going to be coming on. It'll be his 350th league appearance of his career. There was talk that he may well have played at left back today as Martial gets away from Jones, and then will play the ball towards Memphis midway through the Sunderland half to Wayne Rooney. Rooney looks up, stands still, looks at his options, chips the ball out towards Schweinsteiger. In space on this near side the left. Manchester United lead by 2-0. 5 Live in the World Service here at Old Trafford. Schweinsteiger challenged by Lenz and out of play for a Manchester United throw, and we'll now wait to see who will be coming off, and the player who is coming off is Memphis. So Memphis gets a standing ovation, and whilst the change is made, we'll go to Anfield and Ian Brown.
Still Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 2. Still nervy times around Anfield because Aston Villa just won't go away. They almost made it 3-3. Michael Richards with a header inside the penalty area from a deep free kick. He couldn't quite control it. It went over the bar. Coutinho tested Guzan at the other end, but it's wide open. I suspect another goal or two. Liverpool 3, Villa 2.
And Cardiff have come from behind. They now lead Charlton by 2-1. It's Motherwell 2, Partick Thistle 1. So it's tied at Anfield and equally so at Upton Park. John Southall.
It is West Ham 1, Norwich 1, but the game's drifted into a lull. You'd think with 10 minutes to go that one of these sides would push on and try and win it. Andy Carroll has come on. Will he provide the spark for West Ham? 1-1.
What about the team news at St James's Park? Newcastle, Chelsea. John Akers.
John Terry remains on the bench for Chelsea. One change for them. Costa, of course, is banned, is out. Remy comes in. Newcastle, 3 changes. Haidara, Tovan and Cisse are out. In come Alexander Mitrovic after his ban. Vernon Anita. And for his Premier League debut, Kevin Mbabu. A left back, he's only 20.
He came off the bench in midweek against Sheffield Wednesday as Mata drills in the shot and produces the save. And an excellent save it was too by Pantilimon. Meanwhile, there's been a goal at Leicester. Pat Murphy.
It's gone to Arsenal, and it's a hat-trick for Alexis Sanchez. Lovely piece of work. A flick that bamboozled the defender. 25 yards out, right foot shot. Beat Schmeichel on the inside post. But that's a hat-trick for Sanchez. He's played splendidly. Leicester 1, Arsenal 4.
An Arsenal side that will move to within 2 points of Manchester City. However, it's Manchester United who are going top, so there'll be 3 behind Manchester United, who lead here by 2-0. And we have 12 minutes of normal time remaining. Leicester City 1, Arsenal 4. The corner is gathered in by Pantilimon. West Ham 1, Norwich 1. Stoke 1, Bournemouth 0. They're on course for their first win in the Premier League this season. Southampton 3, Swansea 0. John Hartson.
Well, we say it's been a comfortable afternoon for Manchester United. It wasn't so comfortable up until 3 minutes of added on time on the first half, where Memphis put them in front, which is a great time to score. But in the second half, when they went 2-0 up, you know, Louis van Gaal's been able to make all 3 substitutions. Schweinsteiger, Young and Jones have all come on, which he's had a look. He's been able to give his players all of his substitutions a little bit of a run out this afternoon. That's how comfortable they've been in the second half as the game's gone on.
Yeah, they haven't been swashbuckling. It's been a steady performance against a Sunderland side that have had their moments and have had tested De Gea, but they lead by 2-0 United as we go back to Upton Park. And John Southall.
Well, it's West Ham 1, Norwich 1. Norwich, so just exerting some pressure now. Robbie Brady, who's been impressive this afternoon. Free kick from 25 yards, tipped round by Adrian. Here they come again with Redmond, who might try a shot. He does, and it goes into the bottom right-hand corner. That's a wonderful strike from the substitute Redmond. And Norwich City take the lead. West Ham 1, Norwich 2.
You can't get a quicker goal service than that as the ball is played forward by Ashley Young towards Mata. Well read by Pantilimon, who bowls the ball out towards Van Aanholt. And Van Aanholt will take his time. In the rugby in Pool D, Italy beat Canada at Ellen Road 23-18. South Africa Samoa at 4:45s on Sports Extra. England Wales though at 8 o'clock kickoff. The build-up starts an hour before that here on 5 Live. This is 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC. And there's been a goal at Stoke City. Juliet Farrington.
And it's the Bournemouth equaliser, and it's Stoke 1, Bournemouth 0, and Bournemouth have had decent spells of pressure, and Jack Butland has finally been beaten by a goal from Dan Gosling to make make it Stoke City 1, Bournemouth 1.
Brentford have equalised against Sheffield Wednesday as Manchester United are on the attack. Valencia's cross turned behind for a corner kick. Brentford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Sheffield Wednesday are down to 10 men, so that's 10 against 10. Jeremy Allan has been sent off for the Owls as Manchester United attacking the Stretford end with 9 minutes remaining, and Mata's going to take that corner over on that far side. Manchester United, who'll be unbeaten at home now in 5 games since losing to West Bromwich Albion last May, looking to try and make this place a fortress once again. Mata curls in the corner, easily gathered unchallenged by the figure of Pantilimon, and he looks for his options as St Johnstone lead Dundee United by 2-1, and he'll wait and hang on to the ball. John Hartson.
Yeah, well, Sunderland last 10 minutes here. It's been gritty, they've defended reasonably well at times. The goal kills them though, Denno, right on half-time. They can go in at half-time, regroup, take confidence from the first half, but conceding when they did. Great time, obviously, for Manchester United to score, but it just breaks your heart if you're a Sunderland player, Sunderland fan, that you couldn't quite just get in at half-time and have a chat and have that little cup of tea that you need, regroup. They weren't able to do that, which was a big moment in that first half.
We're going to Southampton. Jonathan Oberon, there's been a goal.
And they've finally scored in September, Swansea, but they're lucky to get it, really. They've been poor today. Southampton 3, Swansea 1. Penalty from Gylfi Sigurdsson, actually converted after Roger East had blown for the penalty. Adair went on to score, but the whistle had already gone, so I guess he's a bit relieved. Southampton 3, Swansea 1.
Luton Town are leading Wimbledon by 1-0. Hartlepool now lead Yeovil by 2-1 in League 2. Swansea City, who are yet to win away so far this season, then behind now by 3-1 as Darmian with a cross from the left-hand side, swept away first time by Kabul, picked up by Schweinsteiger, gets the ball back from Ashley Young. Manchester United leading Sunderland by 2-0. 7.5 minutes remain. Antonio Valencia playing at right back, doesn't keep the ball in play. That will be a goal kick. Let's go back to Anfield and Ian Brown.
Still Liverpool 3, Villa 2 into the final 4 minutes. Almost a fourth though for Liverpool, almost a hat-trick for Daniel Sturridge. A great ball to him by Danny Ings, but the shot was saved by Guzan. Great stop down low to his left-hand side to keep it out. It's Liverpool 3, Villa 2.
Sheffield United now lead Doncaster Rovers by 3-1, and Bailey Wright has been sent off. In the first half they had Joel Garner dismissed. Preston against Wolves. Simon Grayson's side now down to 9 men. Where should we go next on 5 Live? And to Celtic, Roddy Forsyth,
who are battering Hearts in an attempt to claw the difference back between them and Aberdeen. It's been virtually a relentless tie, but so far no breakthrough. Can't believe there won't be a few more chances. 86 minutes gone, it's still scoreless in the East End of Glasgow.
And these are the latest scores in the Championship, but I'll give them to you after we've watched this latest Manchester United attack where Mata is coming forward. Mata, edge of the penalty area, crossfield ball, Ashley Young near side the left, attacking the Stretford end, red shirts, white shorts, into the box, doesn't win a corner, held up though by Lunds. He turns, does Ashley Young, still able to deliver the cross into the box. Martial with his back to goal, he's going to tee up Schneiderlin, tries to play it back in, cleared by Kabul. So in the Premier League, it's Leicester 1, Arsenal 4, Norwich lead West Ham 2-1, Stoke 1, Bournemouth 1, Swansea are trailing 3-1 at Southampton. Earlier, MK Dons 1, Derby 3 was the result. These are the latest scores. Birmingham 0, Rotherham 2, Bolton 1, Brighton 2, the leaders. Brentford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, both teams down to 10 men. Burnley 1, Reading 2, Cardiff 2, Charlton 1. Hull still lead Blackburn by 1-0. Ipswich 1, Bristol City 2. On course for their first win at Portman Road since 1978. And Preston, incredibly, down to 9 men, are still leading Wolves by 1-0. As Lee Catamole has just been shown a yellow card.
That's a shock.
For scything down Schneiderlin. He hasn't been sent off, for 2 years. Although he did pick up a record, 14 or a joint record, 14 yellow cards.
He's actually done well
season.
today, Catamole. He's tried his hardest. He's intercepted the ball. His passing has been good. Yeah, he got his customary booking then, but it's been difficult for him at times.
Latest scores in League One: Barnsley lead Gillingham 2-0. Graham West is going to get off to a winning start for Peterborough United. Bradford City 0, Peterborough United 2. Bury lead Coventry 2-1. Chesterfield and the leaders Burton 1 apiece. Burton will still stay top. Fleetwood 1, Port Vale 2. Millwall 3, Rochdale 1. Oldham 1, Wigan 1. Sheffield United lead Doncaster 3-1. Shrewsbury 2. Bottom of the table Blackpool 0. Southend United 2, Scunthorpe 1. Swindon 1, Colchester 2. And Walsall, who were leading, being held by struggling Crewe 1-1. And that's the reason why Burton Albion will still be top of the table. Sunderland playing from left to right. Catamol can't get Lenz away on this near side. Headed away by Darmian. And Darmian, showing good strength, will win a free kick for Manchester United. So the latest scores in League Two. Barnet, no, we'll wait because there's been a goal at Leicester. Pat Murphy.
To Leicester, it's Leicester 2, Arsenal 4. Vardy got his second goal of the afternoon after a splendid save from the keeper check. But Vardy kept his cool and sidled it in. They never give up, Leicester. Leicester 2, Arsenal 4.
We have a change at the top of League Two because Leyton Orient is still drawing at Northampton, but Portsmouth, who are unbeaten still, are leading Bristol Rovers by 2-1. So Leicester will lose their unbeaten record, but Brighton and Portsmouth, it must be what they're feeding them on the south coast, will remain the two unbeaten teams in England. Elsewhere it's Barnet 3, Dagenham Redbridge 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Portsmouth 2, Cambridge 0, Stevenage 0, Carlisle 0, Newport 1. On course for their first win of the season, Terry Butcher's side. Crawley 0, Accrington 2, Exeter 0, Wickham 2, Luton 1, Wimbledon 0, Mansfield 0, Plymouth 0. Goalless between Northampton and Leyton Orient. Notts County lead York City 1-0. Oxford and Morecambe's 0-0. Hartlepool are leading Yeovil by 2-1. As we'll go back to Upton Park and John Southall.
West Ham 1, Norwich 2, but West Ham are really pressing now. Andy Carroll, just if he'd controlled it 6 yards out, surely he would have scored. We've got about 4 minutes for West Ham to get something here. West Ham 1, Norwich 2.
In the Scottish Premiership, Celtic 0, Hearts 0, Dundee 3, Ross County 3 as the ball is played up towards Martial. Kabul, though, will beat him in the air. Towering header. O'Shea caught in possession by Rooney. Looks to go on the long way round of Van Aanholt, but he was tucked in the left, back to clear for Sunderland. Held up by Fletcher. Dundee 3, Ross County 3, Inverness 2, Aberdeen 1, but there's been a goal at Stoke. Juliet Farrington.
Oh, hello, Stoke City. 83 minutes gone. Remember, we're so far behind you. It's Stoke 2, Bournemouth 1, and Juve, the substitute, may well have scored the winning goal here at the Britannia Stadium. The Bournemouth players couldn't believe it, but Juve has fired. Stoke 2-1 in front.
Kilmarnock 1, Hamilton 2, Motherwell 2, Partick 1, St Johnstone 2, Dundee United 1. Manchester United on the attack, which matter. Can't play the ball through towards Valencia on the overlap, and we have 3 minutes of normal time remaining, as Juliet says, because of that serious injury to Callum Wilson. They are a little bit behind us. But elsewhere in the top flight, Arsenal are on course for 3 points. They're leading Leicester 4-2. Liverpool are hanging on against Aston Villa 3-2. Norwich are at West Ham winning 2-1. Stoke have the advantage against Bournemouth and Southampton 3. Swansea City 1. So no draws in the top flight today. Spurs earlier 4-1 winners against Manchester City. John Hartson.
Well, as I said, it's United have cruised to the top of the league. Sunderland, effort-wise, can't fault them today. They've given everything, but you just think where their next win is going to come from. Sunderland, we've got Jermaine Defoe on the bench today, not being called upon. Fletcher came on at half-time. Johnson went off. Borini's playing over on the left. I know they're away at Manchester United, but you just wonder whether this is the 7th game of the season, 2 draws. This will be their 5th defeat. And they're in a little bit of disarray. They need a win from somewhere.
The next game's coming up for Sunderland. West Ham at home before the international break, and then West Brom away and Newcastle at home. But the points are safe for Manchester United as Rooney picks up this ball over the halfway line and then runs and drives at the Sunderland defence. And Rooney's still going all the way, but held up by Kabul. A goal at Upton Park. John Southall.
And West Ham have got their equaliser. Parried, saved by the goalkeeper John Ruddy, and there was Kouate to snaffle up the chance, and West Ham have saved themselves. West Ham 2, Norwich 2.
And Ipswich have got a late equaliser now, 2-2 at Portman Road against Bristol City in the Championship. Ashley Young into the penalty area, drills it in, takes a deflection, comes out towards Mata, and Mata scores for Manchester United. 3 goals, 3 points, and under Louis van Gaal, Manchester United are going to the top of the table.
Great finish from Mata, excellent play from Ashley Young down the left-hand side, twists and turns, crosses it eventually with his left foot, falls to Mata on the back post, and he smashes it into the roof of the net past Pantilimon. 3-0, and Manchester United absolutely cruising to the top of the Premier League.
And it has been a routine win for them.
It has, it's been very routine. I know the goals came at difficult times for Sunderland, right at the very end of the first half and just at the beginning of the second half, but still Memphis went through, could have made it 3, one-on-one with Pantilimon. He missed his chance, but 3-0, very, very routine, Deno, as you say.
A late goal here and another goal at Leicester. Pat Murphy.
To Arsenal, even Olivier Giroud has got in the act here as a substitute. Haymaker, left foot, 15 yards out. What fun this is, although I'm sure the managers don't agree. Leicester 2, Arsenal 5.
And another goal at Hull City, Naz Premji.
Hull 1, Blackburn 1, Conway with a corner, Rhodes with a header, the level late in the game. Hull 1, Blackburn 1.
Here at Old Trafford, Manchester United going to the top, leapfrogging Manchester City, who were beaten by Tottenham earlier in our first commentary by 4-1. Manchester United will get reaction in Sports Report from the tunnel here at Old Trafford as the sun now shines here brightly into the eyes of the defenders. It's finished at Upton Park, West Ham 2, Norwich City 2. That's a full-time score, so that was a late equaliser that we just brought you with John Southall in the 3rd minute of injury time. Kouyaté to make it 2-2. A Sunderland who will remain bottom, but Manchester United going top. As we said earlier, their next 3 league games: Arsenal at home, Everton away, Manchester City at home. Sunderland making a rare foray into the United half with Van Aanholt to Mvia. And this is Lenz, who will shoot and strikes the heels of Smalling and dealt with by Schneiderlin. We've got 4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. Manchester United will just keep the ball and make it very, very hard for Sunderland. The points are safe. Best start to a season in 4 seasons now for Manchester United.
Been some good performances for me today for Manchester United. Martial has impressed me with his movement and his intelligence. He hasn't scored. I've not really had any chances, to be honest with you, but his build-up play has been good. He showed different signs to his game. He's held it up. He's got great feet. And I certainly see a huge future here for him at Manchester United. Wayne Rooney's been very, very good again, just off the front. I think that is his best position. And what they have got, they've got a fantastic centre-half, who is a proper centre-half in Smalling. He's been outstanding today, put his head through the ball, defended well, and some really good performances from United players. Van Gaal will be delighted to be sitting at the top of the Premier League.
2 late goals to tell you about in the Championship. Brentford 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2, and Wolves have got their equaliser in injury time against the 9 men of Preston North End. Garner and Wright both sent off, still then without a win in 7 it would be now in the Championship for Simon Grayson's side. Preston North End 1, Wolves 1. St Johnstone have beaten Dundee United by 2-1. Here we're in the last 60 seconds. Elsewhere, Arsenal are leading Leicester City 5-2. Stoke City still playing in normal time there, lead Bournemouth by 2-1. It would mean that Sunderland and Newcastle United will be the only teams in the Premier League still without a win. Newcastle, of course, play later on against Chelsea. Regular updates into Sports Report with Mark Chapman. And remember, we've got the rugby. You don't need to go anywhere else on your way home. If you're a football fan now listening, England-Wales from 8, 5 Live is the only place to be. Meanwhile, a goal at Bolton in the Championship. Dave Woods.
4 minutes of stoppage time played when Bolton get the equaliser. Bolton 2, Brighton 2. Gary Medine heading it in from a long cross from Liam Feeney. It looks as though Brighton are going to be held here. Bolton 2, Brighton 2.
And it's full time here at Old Trafford, and Manchester United are top of the table. They have beaten Sunderland by 3-0, who remain bottom. Memphis with a tap-in just before half-time. After the restart, Rooney from close range bundled it in off his right knee, and then Mata in injury time. John Hartson.
Yeah, good win for Manchester United. 3-0, another clean sheet. Sunderland never really put up a massive test. It was always Man United that were in control of all the situations. Scored at a vital time just before half-time, and ultimately come out in the second half, and they've won really, really comfortable. 3-0, could have been a bit more. De Gea, not a lot to do, but great win, and the fact that they're top of the league and not probably playing to their best, if you like. There's still a lot more room for that from Manchester United, but top of the league, can't ask for more than that.
It's their third Premier League win in a row. They've beaten Sunderland 3-0 and now sit pretty at the top of the Barclays Premier League.